Chapter 9-10. This time, the opportunity should have arrived. After the merger was complete, the secret of the Qing Emperor drawing the saber should be revealed. Xiao Qian, release the evil demon clone that you subdued. Interrogate it carefully. Lang Taotian kicked the gilded coffin in frustration. The coffin did not budge at all, giving off loud banging sounds. Xiao Qian ignored Lang Taotian, showing no intention of releasing the evil demon clone. His figure flashed as he prepared to leave. Hu Qi. A figure blocked Xiao Qian's path. It was the Northern Sea Alliance's Yan Qihai. He smiled coldly and said, "Young Master Xiao, why are you in such a rush to leave? You obtained the treasure of Neptune's body in advance, right?" "Nonsense." Xiao Qian frowned and looked up at Yan Qihai. Immediately, Yan Qihai felt like thousands of sabers pierced through him, instantly riddling him with thousands of holes, killing him. "Am I dead? That's not right. This is an illusion. I fell for this brat's trick." Yan Qihai's eyes regained clarity, and he instantly woke up. However, Xiao Qian's fist had already landed on his chest. A horrifying force surged through Yan Qihai's body like a knife. He vomited a mouthful of blood as Xiao Qian's punch smashed him into the wall. Hu Qi. Xiao Qian's figure flashed, and he easily dodged Lang Taotian's sneak attack from behind. Then, he stretched out his right hand and grabbed Lang Taotian's wrist. Lang Taotian felt like a vice clamping down on his wrist. He could not help feeling anxious. He had not expected that his silent sneak attack would be like Xiao Qian had eyes in the back of his head, waiting for him to make a move. Bang! Xiao Qian raised his hand and flung Lang Taotian to the ground like he was throwing away trash. Electric light flashed under Xiao Qian's feet. Before Lang Taotian could stand up, he stomped heavily on his chest. Xiao Qian pressed Lang Taotian back down and circulated his vital qi. No matter how Lang Taotian struggled, it was useless. The couple from Spirit Returning Island were originally prepared to attack at the same time. However, when they saw such a scene, how could they dare to do anything? "Xiao Qian, you bastard! The sect master of my Xianshui sect will never let you off. You idiot, you don't know anything. Do you really think that by showing off in Neptune's palace, you can?" Before Lang Taotian finished speaking, Xiao Qian raised his leg and kicked him out of the palace. Ka xie! Ka xie! This kick broke a few of Lang Taotian's ribs. Yan Qihai stood up and looked at Lang Taotian, who blew a gust of wind beside him. His heart thumped heavily, and his complexion paled. Seeing Xiao Qian look at him, he quickly said, "Young Master Xiao, this old man misunderstood you. You definitely did not touch the sea monarch's corpse. Princess, let's go." "Xiao Xiao Yao, let's, Emperor, Yao, Xiao." "Yao Yan," Xiao Yan Qian said, smiling. Yao Yan's heart sank. This smile was very similar to that night when the bright moon hung high in the sky. It was clearly a smile, but there was no warmth in it. How could there be such a cold and lonely smile in the world? After leaving this place, under Yao Yan's lead, the group entered the Great Hall. Inside the Great Hall, Xiao Qian let out the evil demon clones, allowing them to find several undiscovered treasure rooms. Everyone received some benefits. However, the disappearance of the divine rain robes, Neptune's scepter, and the other Emperor-grade secret treasures made everyone feel that these benefits were meaningless. Compared to Neptune's treasures, they were just a drizzle. There were many evil demon clones in the Great Hall. After an intense battle, the group finally arrived at the place where the evil demon's main body was sealed. The slightly dimmed Extreme Thunder Sword was stabbed into a throne in front of Xiao Qian. A huge golden figure tried to struggle free from the throne several times. However, the Extreme Thunder Sword kept it firmly in place. The Extreme Thunder Sword seemed to grow in this figure's body. Every time the figure struggled, the trembling Extreme Thunder Sword increased the pain it brought. A pained wail resounded throughout the entire Great Hall. That sound made everyone tremble in fear. When the golden evil demon clone saw Yao Yan in the crowd, it immediately calmed down. The figure shrank continuously, turning solid and heavy. Now, it was the size of a regular person as it sat on the throne. If not for the extreme thunder sword stabbing into its chest and burning with a faint electric flame, this golden evil demon clone might have been mistaken for a monarch. "Little girl, after torturing me for 2 years, you finally appeared," the golden evil demon clone said through clenched teeth with a cold look in its eyes. "This is the evil demon's main body. It is only a so-so." Similar thoughts appeared in the hearts of the group. This evil demon clone's main body was completely golden. Its facial features looked like they were carved by a knife, giving it a sinister beauty. However, aside from this, there was nothing extraordinary about it. Furthermore, it was sealed. With the extreme thunder sword suppressing it, what could it do? Qi Wushua's lips curled up as he said, "I really don't know how you managed to kill Emperor Wu." Emperor Wu? Those bastards from the Merfolk clan. When the golden evil demon heard Qi Wushua mention Emperor Wu, it gritted its teeth. Its eyes revealed extreme rage. This rage was even more intense than its hatred for Princess Yao Yan. When Shao Qin saw this, he entered deep thought. Yao Yan interrupted the golden evil demon clone and said, "Young Master Shao, there is not much extreme thunder true flame left in the extreme thunder sword. We have to make use of this time to refine it. Everyone, let's work together." After saying that, Yao Yan turned the electric flame in her sword into a beam of rainbow light and fired it at the golden evil demon clone on the throne. Long Fei made a move at the same time, firing his blood-kill thunder flame over. The scarlet electric light was like a ferocious venomous snake. Qi Wushua formed hand seals with both hands and moved his 10 fingers. The turbid sky demonic hand imprint burned with electric flames as it smashed towards the golden evil demon clone. The Northern Sea Alliance's Yan Chi Hai had a mirror hovering over his head. A large area burned with a fierce electric flame. As the light reflected off the mirror, flames spewed out endlessly like a fountain. The couple from Spirit Returning Island each brandished a blazing solar thunder flame banner. The blazing solar thunder flame immediately swept towards the golden evil demon clone like a gust of wind. Everyone executed their magic skills. Multicolored lightning flames covered the sky as they surged towards the golden evil demon. The might of the flames spread out. Thunder roared endlessly in the great hall. A strong wind stirred up the flames and howled ferociously. Shao Qin kept his cool, not in a rush to make a move. He stared at the golden evil demon clone on the throne. The golden evil demon clone on the throne appeared extremely calm. It revealed a mocking expression. As the overwhelming thunder flames rained down, it stretched out its right hand, and a whirlpool-like black hole appeared in its palm, swallowing up all the thunder flames. Immediately, only the sound of wind remained in the hall. All the thunder flames vanished. "This is rather fun. Little girl, is this the helper you found? They might be able to restrain my clones. However, you are too naive to think that you can use this little bit of thunder flames to deal with me." The golden evil demon clone smiled coldly. "Since you like to use thunder flames to injure others, I will let you have a taste of thunder flames as well." Hu Qi. The golden evil demon clone opened its mouth and spat out all the thunder flames it had just swallowed. Then, it surged towards the crowd even more ferociously. The main hall was immediately thrown into chaos. The air was filled with rolling thunder and fire. Everyone hurriedly dodged in all directions. The golden evil demon clone laughed loudly. The extreme thunder sword stabbed into its chest trembled endlessly, looking like it would fall off at any moment. Whoosh! Electric light flashed under Shao Chen's feet. After storing up power, he nimbly weaved through the thunder flames. In 3 or 4 flashes, he arrived before the throne. Then, he stretched out his hand and grabbed the hilt of the extreme thunder sword. "You overestimate yourself." When the golden evil demon clone saw that Shao Chen dared to charge at it, it clenched its right fist and punched at Shao Chen's head. When the golden evil demon clone moved its right hand, it used an extremely tyrannical method to swallow up the vast spiritual energy in the surroundings. The golden fist burst forth with a dazzling, sun-like golden light. The fist light was very fast. Xiaochen felt a dangerous aura. He quickly leaned back and crossed his arms in front of him to block the attack. Bang! The huge force struck Xiaochen's arms, sending him flying back a kilometer like a cannonball. Then, he crashed heavily into the walls of the hall. The entire hall shook violently. If it weren't for the restrictions on the walls of the hall, this one strike would have destroyed the entire hall. Xiaochen coughed and vomited a mouthful of blood. His complexion paled slightly. The power that this golden evil demon clone burst forth with was simply too terrifying. The devouring power was also incredible. Xiaochen had never seen spiritual energy being used like this before. Hold him back and create an opportunity for me. After instructing Yao Yan, Xiaochen pushed off the wall with his feet. This time, he executed his movement technique to its limits. The lightning dragons under his feet seemed to come to life as they carried him forward at lightning speed. Bang! 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 Xiaochen quickly exchanged moves with the golden evil demon clone. He nearly managed to grab hold of the sword several times but was knocked back every time. Under Yao Yan's command, the others used their thunder flames to harass the golden evil demon clone, helping Xiaochen create an opportunity. The battle in the hall intensified. The golden evil demon clone was much harder to deal with than everyone had expected. However, as Xiaochen approached, the golden evil demon clone was no longer as calm as it was at the start. Occasionally, the golden evil demon clone had to stand up to push back Xiaochen. However, the extreme thunder sword stabbed into its chest made it feel excruciating pain. Mournful wails resounded in the hall. Just as Xiaochen was about to be knocked back by the golden evil demon clone, he spun around in the time it took for a spark to fly and finally managed to grab hold of the extreme thunder sword. The golden evil demon clone's expression changed as it stood up in a fluster. The extreme thunder sword stabbed deeper and deeper. In the blink of an eye, the golden evil demon clone's chest touched the sword hilt. Its face was nearly pressed against Xiaochen's. Xiaochen calmly held the sword hilt without letting go. Just as the golden evil demon clone was about to touch him, his origin flame quickly spread out from his palm. As the flames burned, the golden evil demon clone fell to the ground. The flames burned and the extreme thunder sword sliced. Under the double pain, the golden evil demon clone let out a sharp, miserable shriek. The others heaved a sigh of relief and stopped what they were doing, moving to the side. At this point in time, the retaliation of the evil demon clone before its death would be even stronger. They did not want to get caught up in the crossfire. At some point in time, Lang Taotian, who had been sent flying miserably by Xiaochen, had quietly appeared in the hall at some point in time, looking at Xiaochen. Xiaochen smiled coldly to himself. This fool. When the evil demon clone dies, it will be his death. Yet, he is still working so hard. What an idiot. The luster of the golden evil demon clone slowly dimmed, turning from gold to silver. As it shrieked in pain, it turned from silver to a transparent, white jade. Chapter 9:11. Xiaochen could see that the extreme thunder sword stabbed into the evil demon's chest had pierced through the heavenly soul pearl in its body. The tip of the sword was stuck in the throne, connected to the seal inside, trapping the evil demon on the throne. Xiaochen also saw 9 strands of green light around the evil demon's heavenly soul pearl. Every strand of green light contained immense power as it revolved around the heavenly soul pearl. Whenever the heavenly soul pearl glowed, the 9 strands of light would quickly suppress it. When Xiaochen saw this clearly, he seemed to understand something. He somewhat understood why this golden evil demon hated the merfolk race's Emperor Wu so much. At this moment, the thing that trapped this golden evil demon was not the extreme thunder sword but the 9 strands of light that the merfolk race's Emperor Wu left behind. Not only did these strands of light suppress this golden evil demon's strength, but they also left 9 ticking time bombs in its body, ready to take its life at any moment. Seeing that the evil demon had already turned black, a jade pearl appeared in Yao Yan's hand. She shouted, "Young Master Xiao, step back. Leave the rest to me." Xiao Chen's origin flame was already almost exhausted. When he heard that, he quickly let go of the sword hilt and quickly retreated. "You want to leave? Die." The instant Xiao Chen let go, the enraged evil demon stabbed its fingers into Xiao Chen's chest like a knife, piercing through his heart. A huge force blasted Xiao Chen back. Coincidentally, Xiao Chen landed at Lang Taotian's feet. When Yao Yan saw this scene, she felt very anxious. However, at this crucial moment, she could not afford to be distracted. She quickly formed hand seals, and the 9 strands of light in the evil demon's body gave off resplendent light, looking like stars. After forming the hand seals, Princess Yao Yan extended her hand and sent out the jade pearl. When the jade pearl came in contact with the evil demon, the 9 strands of light suddenly flared up. The entire hall immediately lit up with a red light. A shock wave spread out, lingering for a long time. When the red light completely dissipated, the demon on the throne had already disappeared. It had been completely killed. Wearing the Thorn Sovereign circlet, Yao Yan had a look of joy on his face. However, when he looked around, he found that Xiao Chen was nowhere to be seen. His face sank. Yan Qihai of the Northern Sea Alliance and the young couple of Spirit Returning Island also revealed looks of joy when they confirmed that the evil demon was dead. A jade pendant appeared in their hands at the same time, and with a crack, they crushed it. Qi Wuxue and Long Fei exchanged glances and crushed the jade pendants in their hands as well. In the void above the Chaos Devil Sea, the North Lake Alliance's Vice Alliance Master, the Spirit Return Island Master, the Xianshui Sect Master, the Muddy Sky Sect Master, and the White Bone King's junior brother all had jade tokens floating in front of them shatter at the same time. The few martial monarchs opened their eyes at the same time. With a wave of their hands, they tore through the void and appeared above the chaotic demon ocean. Without hesitation, they slammed their palms down. The vast sea immediately split apart like it was tofu. With a wave of their palms, the severed seawater surged out. The sea vanished, and the outer seal of Neptune's palace 10 kilometers below was exposed to the few martial monarchs. These martial monarchs possessed heaven-defying means. With a raise of their hands, they could flip rivers and seas. Outside the Great Hall, Lang Taotian gently tossed Xiao Chen to the ground. Earlier, when Xiao Chen landed at Lang Taotian's feet, Lang Taotian was overjoyed. He immediately picked up Xiao Chen and dashed out. After Lang Taotian took out a jade pendant and crushed it, he looked at the bleeding Xiao Chen's chest. Then, he laughed happily and ruthlessly kicked Xiao Chen into the air. "Ha ha ha! Xiao Chen, you are really an idiot. You are so foolish, working so hard. However, you do not know that after we kill the main body of the evil demon, you will be the first to die." Bang! Lang Taotian stomped on Xiao Chen's chest and pressed it a few times. Then, he looked at Xiao Chen and revealed a cruel smile. He said coldly, "One finger pierced the heart and ruptured it. Even if you have a king-grade medicinal pill, you will not be able to escape death. However, I know that your physical body is very strong. You will not die so quickly." Lang Taotian's smile made one tremble in fear. Then, he stomped on Xiao Chen's bleeding chest and started twisting it. "Ha! Is it very painful? To think that you have to suffer such torture before you die. What white-robed king? What Qing emperor's descendant? In the end, you are still trampled under my feet." Xiao Chen remained expressionless as he looked coldly at the other party. He silently circulated the firmament body tempering art and repaired his damaged heart. The final strike of the evil demon had pierced through Xiao Chen's chest, nearly splitting his heart in half. An ordinary person would have died on the spot. If Xiao Chen's physical body had not reached rank 3 sage body and his life force was comparable to the blue-robed emperor's, he would not have had a chance to execute the cultivation technique for repairing his heart. However, the situation now was not optimistic. Occasionally, Lang Taotian kicked Xiao Chen, making it difficult for him to repair his heart. Earlier, Xiao Chen's kicks reduced Lang Taotian to a sorry state. At this moment, Lang Taotian smiled coldly. He did not make a move, only kicking Xiao Chen repeatedly. Then, Lang Taotian flew forward and stomped on Xiao Chen's chest. It seemed like he could wash away his earlier humiliation by doing this. However, the thing that made Lang Taotian bored was that Xiao Chen did not say anything from the start to the end. He only looked at Lang Taotian coldly. The scene of Xiao Chen begging for mercy did not appear as Lang Taotian expected. After repeating this a few times, Lang Taotian felt that Xiao Chen's gaze seemed to be looking down on him. Damn it! Even though you are about to die, your bones are still so tough. Lang Taotian drew his sword and pointed it at Xiao Chen's chest. He smiled and said, "White-robed king, do you have any last words?" "I, Lang Taotian, do not mind helping you pass them on." No matter what, this famous descendant of the Qing emperor was going to die at his hands. In the future, Lang Taotian's name would spread far and wide, leaving a mark on this era. Last words? You can keep them for yourself. Xiao Chen, who had been silent all this while, suddenly exploded into action. He kicked up ferociously. This kick turned the wind around, and a saber light flickered. In an instant, the tip of Xiao Chen's foot landed on the defenseless Lang Taotian. Ka Xie. The saber light was unparalleled, and blood spurted out. Xiao Chen's kick broke Lang Taotian's right wrist. The hand that held the sword fell off. My hand. Earlier, Xiao Chen had been on the verge of death, unable to resist at all. Now, he suddenly burst out with such strong combat prowess. This stupefied Lang Taotian. Blood gushed out from Lang Taotian's wrist, and he felt waves of pain. The heart is the foundation of the physical body, the source of life force. Your heart is shattered, and there is no cure. How can you recover so quickly? Xiao Chen ignored Lang Taotian. He stood up and grabbed the fallen sword. Then, he swung his hand, and the sword flickered with a purple light. Then, it moved like lightning as it chopped at Lang Taotian's neck. At the crucial moment of life and death, Lang Taotian displayed his extraordinary strength. His figure flashed as he dodged this sword strike. Lang Taotian was frightened out of his wits. He hated that he could not grow another leg to flee in a panic, wanting to leave Neptune's palace. As long as Lang Taotian left this Neptune's palace, he would be saved. Xiao Chen casually tossed aside the sword and closed his eyes to check his heart. Under the effects of the firmament body tempering art, his heart had recovered. Under the firmament body tempering art's repair, the shattered heart had already merged back together. As it beat, it was like an ancient ferocious beast, giving off a strong life force. Fortunately, I cultivated the firmament body tempering art to consummation before I came. My internal organs were tempered like ancient ferocious beasts. Otherwise, even if I used the Haotian Emperor's will clone, I would not have survived. Xiao Chen opened his eyes and glanced at the fleeing Lang Taotian. Then, he entered deep thought. I absolutely cannot let this person leave Neptune's palace. If I am not wrong, the major characters attracted by Neptune's palace should have already arrived. At this moment, given Xiao Chen's outstanding intelligence, how could he not figure out the ins and outs of the situation? The merfolk race had indeed lost 9 Emperor Wu. However, they were not killed by the evil demon's main body. Instead, they had died willingly, leaving the essence of their strength in the evil demon's body. What Xiao Chen sought was not to seal the evil demon but to wait for an opportunity to completely kill the evil demon and remove the tumor from Neptune's palace. Then, Yao Yan would be able to refine Neptune's palace smoothly. This opportunity was Xiao Chen's strong purple thunder true fire. As long as he could reduce the strength of the evil demon's main body, he would be able to refine it. As long as he could reduce the strength of the evil demon's main body, he could detonate the 9 green lights and eliminate this evil demon that even the Qing Emperor could not kill. He could only seal it and eliminate it. Of course, this did not mean that the previous Qing emperor was inferior to these 9 people. It was just that the previous Qing emperor did not have the purple thunder true fire and could not find an opportunity like Xiao Chen's. The only thing that puzzled Xiao Chen was where Yao Yan got his confidence to let these emperor's chess pieces into Neptune's palace. Even if Yao Yan obtained the emperor-grade secret treasures that Neptune left behind, with her cultivation, she could not unleash the full might of these secret treasures. Neptune's palace was the residence of the powerful sovereign martial emperor, Neptune. Back then, the Azure Emperor had fought with the Sea Monarch 3 times before defeating this former overlord in the final battle. Naturally, the merfolk race was not the only ones who coveted the palace that Xiao Qin left behind. Actually, Xiao Qin should have expected that once the news of Neptune's palace leaked out, it would attract major characters to make a move. Chapter 9:12. For example, the flustered Lang Taotian before Xiao Qin. The jade pendant that he crushed earlier should have notified the major character behind him. As long as he escaped from Neptune, there would naturally be a major character coming to receive him. Lang Taotian gave chase with lightning and wind. He had already thrown caution to the wind as he fled for his life. At the cost of damaging his origin energy, Lang Taotian doubled his speed. This caused Xiao Chen, who executed Thunder Dragon steps at full power, to be unable to catch up. Up in the 10,000 flower garden, Lang Taotian could not help but reveal an expression of joy when he saw the exit getting closer. However, when he heard the rumbling thunder behind him, he did not dare to relax. "I'm out." Lang Taotian's figure flashed, and he crossed the exit of Neptune. Then, he cried out in joy. Xiao Chen's figure followed closely behind. When he looked up, an incredible scene appeared before his eyes, deeply shocking him. He saw that the black canopy above the Sea Monarch Palace had disappeared. What he saw was not the serene sea, but the sky. That was right, an extremely vast sky. Xiao Chen actually saw the sky at the bottom of this 10,000-meter deep sea. Such a grand move, emptying the entire sea with the flip of a hand. Aside from Emperor Wu, who else in the world could do this? The major characters finally made a move. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. If not for his purple thunder true fire helping the merfolk race to extract the evil demon's main body from Neptune, these major characters would not have made a move. No one would dare to refine Neptune, which contained the evil demon's main body. Compared to Xiao Chen's shock, Lang Taotian was completely excited. He soared into the sky. Xiao Chen's gaze turned cold, and the Soul Slayer bow appeared in his hand. Then, he knocked a star breaker arrow and drew the bowstring. His vital chi burned as he released half a dragon force, a horrifying force of 2,500 tons of force. The Soul Slayer bow creaked. As Xiao Chen pulled it, dragon roars resounded in the surroundings. Then, the images of true dragons appeared behind him. The greater the strength, the more powerful it would be. With 2 million kilograms of strength and the Star Breaker arrow that could break through all defenses, the power of this arrow would reach a level that even Xiao Chen could not believe. There were only 3 Star Breaker arrows. Originally, Xiao Chen did not intend to use them on an insignificant person like Lang Taotian. However, he could not afford to use them now. A martial emperor was about to make a move. Even if Xiao Chen did not use it, he had to use it. Lang Taotian had to die, even with a martial emperor protecting him. Sand and pebbles flew, a strong wind blew, and the dragon roared endlessly. Xiao Chen's aura continued to soar, causing Lang Taotian to feel despair, as if he had nowhere to run and was about to lose his life. "Sect Master, save me!" Lang Taotian shouted loudly. As soon as he finished speaking, the Star Breaker arrow flashed, and the sound of a star exploding seemed to resound in the world. The entire space trembled violently, and the seawater in the surroundings boiled. Waves surged up from the surface of the sea and soared into the clouds. A screen of water descended from the sky and enveloped Lang Taotian, trying to help him block this arrow. However, it was to no avail. The Star Breaker arrow broke through all secret treasures and defensive secret techniques in the world. When the Soul Slayer bow fired it, it detonated its full might. With a PUCI, the star-breaker arrow pierced through Lang Taotian's forehead, leaving a bloody hole. Lang Taotian died on the spot. You are seeking death. How dare you kill a member of my Xianshui sect in front of me? A furious voice resounded in the sky. Even from 10,000 meters away, Xiao Chen's internal organs churned from the voice. The one who spoke was the sect master of the Xianshui sect, Luo Chuan. Lang Taotian was the top true disciple of the Xianshui sect. In the Xianshui sect, only a few of Luo Chuan's final disciples were stronger than Lang Taotian. How could Luo Chuan be angry when Xiao Chen killed him in front of him? Luo Chuan was the sect master of the Xianshui sect, an unparalleled expert with the cultivation of Emperor Wu. Killing a member of his sect in front of Luo Chuan was like slapping his face. A medial-grade martial sage dared to slap his face. How could the sect master of the Xianshui sect endure this? Die. Right after the word die, boundless pressure spread out from the sky, pressing heavily on Xiao Chen's shoulders. Xiao Chen's knees looked like he was going to fall to the ground. A light flashed on Xiao Chen's forehead, and the azure trident that represented the will of destruction appeared in his hand. He stabbed it into the ground and grasped the trident with both hands. Only then did he not kneel. At the same time, a formless will of destruction flowed out of the azure trident, slowly destroying the other party's aura. Only then did Xiao Chen feel better. Just as Luo Chuan prepared to make a move, a few figures flew out of the Neptune Palace in Sari States. Neptune Palace gave off a 3-kilometer-long light as it soared into the sky. In the blink of an eye, it flew more than 10 kilometers. This fellow is starting to refine it. He's making a move. A few voices rang out. Luo Chuan snorted coldly and ignored Xiao Chen, giving chase as well. Luo Chuan would not neglect his roots for the sake of a mere Xiao Chen, forgetting the purpose of this trip. Xiao Chen heaved a sigh of relief. If Luo Chuan wanted to make another move, he could only bring out the will clone of the Haotian Emperor. The will clone of the Haotian Emperor was definitely not a match for Luo Chuan's main body. However, it could still block the other party and create an opportunity for Xiao Chen to leave. However, this was Xiao Chen's greatest life-saving talisman. He could only use it once. He was still far from advancing to Martial Emperor. If he could avoid using it, it would be best not to. Brother Xiao, you are not dead. A startled voice came from behind. Xiao Chen turned his head back and saw Long Fei and Qi Wuxue in sorry states, their clothes tattered as they walked over to him. Far away, the Northern Sea Alliance's Yan Qihai and the two lovers from Spirit Returning Island were also severely injured, looking even more miserable than the two. Xiao Chen smiled and said, Brother Qi, what's wrong? Are you disappointed to see that I am not dead? Disappointed my ass. You've caused us so much trouble. The demoness inside thought you were dead and almost beat us to death. If we didn't run fast enough, I really don't know if we would still be alive. Qi Wuxue spat out a mouthful of blood as he cursed. Demoness? Xiao Chen could not help feeling suspicious. Could he be talking about Princess Yao Yan? Long Fei waved his tattered folding fan and sighed, Brother Xiao, you really made a mistake this time. The treasures left behind by Neptune, the divine rain robes, chasing wave boots, Neptune's scepter, and Neptune's crown, were all grasped by that Princess Yao Yan. The death of the 9 merfolk race martial emperors was a trap. They purposely died to help Yao Yan, to make her the new Neptune. Qi Wuxue still felt some lingering fear in his heart. This demoness really hid herself deeply. Even without these Emperor-grade secret treasures, even if I worked together, I would not be able to deal with her. Indeed, Xiao Chen had guessed everything correctly. However, this did not matter to Xiao Chen. He was only here to kill the evil demon clans, to settle the karma that the Qing Emperor left behind. At this moment, this no longer had anything to do with Xiao Chen. The remaining matters were for the major characters to worry about. Speaking of which, Xiao Chen, why are you not surprised at all? Seeing Xiao Chen's calm appearance, Qi Wuxue felt depressed. Not calm. Why should I not be calm? From the very start, Xiaoqin had not had any designs on Neptune's palace. He had a considerable understanding of his own strength. Without advancing to martial emperor, he would not be able to participate in this game unless there were 9 Emperor Wus willing to use their lives to pave the way for him. Furthermore, Xiaoqin had gained a lot on this trip, settling the karma from 10,000 years ago. The secret of the Qing emperors drawing the saber painting was about to be revealed. Furthermore, he had obtained several heavenly soul pearls, sufficient for his magic energy to advance further. The Greenwood Banner and the 5-element medallion, these 2 magic treasures, could directly increase his combat prowess. What was there to be dissatisfied with? Could it be that Xiaoqin overestimated himself and thought that only refining Neptune's palace would be considered gaining something? Xiaoqin changed the topic and asked, "What are the 2 of you planning to do next? Where do you intend to go on experiential training?" Long Fei smiled and said, "Brother Zhao's attitude is truly admirable. Wuxue and I intend to go directly to the heavenly starry ocean. That place is also a vast place. There are many outstanding talents there, and there are also countless remnants at the bottom of the sea. We should be able to gain something there." After the chaotic demonic sea was the heavenly starry ocean. Xiaoqin had heard a little about the world there. It was no less exciting than the Kunlun continent. At that time, Long Fei and I will probably not be able to make it in time for Brother Zhao's king conferral ceremony. However, we will definitely deliver the congratulatory gifts on time, Qi Wuxue added. Qi Wuxue followed up. However, based on his expression, it was clear that he was still angry at Princess Yao Yan's final move, feeling extremely depressed. "Thank you. We will meet again in the future." "What's wrong, Brother Zhao? Are you not going to see who will obtain Neptune's palace in the end?" As the 3 spoke, they flew upwards. All the seawater was thrown into the air. A formless restriction in the surroundings prevented the seawater from falling back down. Without the obstruction of the seawater, the 3 flew extremely fast. Soon, they arrived at the surface of the sea. The roars of the waves rumbled endlessly into the 3's ears. 500 kilometers away, on the boundless sea, a woman wearing a sky-blue divine rain robe with water flowing on it held the golden Neptune scepter with 9 azure flood dragons carved on it. She wore the chasing wave boots that parted the wind and stepped on water. She wore the thorn sovereign circlet on her head, and the bright Neptune crown hung above her. Unexpectedly, Yao Yan brought out the might of these emperor-grade secret treasures to their limits. By relying on the 4 treasures of Neptune that were at full power, Yao Yan fought an intense battle with the martial emperors on the surface of the sea without falling into a disadvantage. The Neptune palace on Yao Yan's forehead looked like a sky-blue mark. During the battle, she was still refining the Neptune palace. That's not right. The Neptune palace has already been refined and is providing her with an endless source of energy. Otherwise, her body would have exploded from the overexertion of Neptune's treasures. Xiaoqian's expression changed slightly. This is a good move. The merfolk race is really generous. The 9 Emperor Wu are really using their lives to pave a path for Yao Yan. Bang! The 9 azure flood dragons on Neptune's scepter roared ferociously and flew out from the scepter, shattering the hand of the Xianxue sect master. After that, Yao Yan swung the scepter and knocked away the emperor-grade secret treasure in Luo Chuan's hand. Then, she swung the scepter's tail and sent Luo Chuan flying. Golden raindrops dripped down from the god rain robe, forming a gentle water screen that blocked all the attacks from the other great emperors. Chapter 9:13. Yao Yan waved her hand, and the holy beast medallion, the merfolk race's protective treasure, appeared in her hand. She summoned a mountain-sized snake with 1,000 feathers and 1,000 wings. Qi Wuxue exclaimed, "An ancient mutated beast, 1,000-feathered snake. I really could not tell. This demoness has quite a few treasures in her hands. The 1,000-feathered snake can probably help her share the pressure of Emperor Wu." After this battle, there would no longer be a Princess Yao Yan in the world. The title of Empress Yao Yan would definitely spread throughout the entire Kunlun realm. Long Fei and Qi Wuxue showed unsightly expressions. After all, the major characters behind them also participated in the fight for the Palace of Neptune. With the Palace of Neptune as the foundation and the Thorn Sovereign Circlet as support, Xiaoqin controlled the 4 treasures of Neptune. Seeing that Yao Yan grew stronger as the battle progressed, even suppressing Emperor Wu, how could Long Fei be in a good mood? Xiaoqin no longer had any worries. He only treated this battle 500 kilometers away as a feast, carefully observing and comprehending it. Among the people surrounding Yao Yan, Xiaoqin also saw that mysterious expert from the Wendao Palace. When he thought about how he had killed 2 people from the Wendao Palace, he decided that this was not a good place to linger. Let's go. If I delay any longer, I won't be able to leave even if I wanted to. Actually, we already know who will win the Palace of Neptune. After saying goodbye to Qi Wuxue and Long Fei, Xiaoqin stood on electric light and quickly left this place. Half a day later, Xiaoqin crossed the chaotic demonic sea and arrived at the beach. As Xiaoqin looked at the yellow soil demonic garden at the limits of his vision, he recalled his experiences in the past half-month and felt somewhat rueful. The Qing Emperor drawing the saber painting and standing high seeing distant painting had already finished merging in the universe ring. Xiaoqin waved his hand, and a new painting appeared in his hand. Xiaoqin slowly unfurled the painting. There was no Qing Emperor in it, only 2 secret manuals and an ancient bronze key. With a gentle shake, the 3 items fell out. The scroll spontaneously combusted. The flames burned and soon turned into ashes. Is this the thing hidden in the drawing of the saber? Xiaoqin said with some anticipation as he carefully put away the 3 items. The Qing Emperor definitely had his reasons for hiding these 3 items in the drawing the saber painting. Boom! Just as Xiaoqin was about to take a closer look, a huge wave rose from the sea behind him, and a giant serpent with 1,000 feathers and 1,000 wings leaped out, carrying Princess Yao Yan. No, it should be Empress Yao Yan now. I finally made it. Young Master Xiao, you're still alive. This is great news. Seeing that Xiaoqin was fine, Yao Yan smiled with a complicated expression. Thank you for your concern, Your Highness. Xiaoqin is indeed living very well. Xiaoqin smiled faintly, still as cold and lonely as before. The giant serpent with 1,000 feathers and 1,000 wings gave off a horrifying mutated beast's might. As the seawater churned, it occasionally flicked its long tongue, revealing its cold, venomous fangs. When Yao Yan stepped on the serpent, the ferocious mutated beast became obedient, not daring to move rashly. The sky-blue mark of the Neptune Palace on Xiaoqian's forehead gave off a light as bright as the sun. At this moment, Yao Yan looked like the sun in the sky. Her voice was intimidating. Just one look from her could make others feel a bone-deep fear. Xiaoqin had refined the Neptune Palace and subdued the 4 treasures of Neptune, the unparalleled attacking Neptune scepter, the unparalleled defensive divine rain robes, the chasing wave shoes that could travel 1,000 kilometers in an instant, and the Neptune crown, which represented the vast might of the emperor. The 3 treasures of the merfolk race, the water god pearl, the thorn sovereign circlet, and the holy beast medallion. With so many peak secret treasures, the other party's strength was already beyond what Xiaoqin could fathom. The overall strength of a cultivator relied on 5 things: cultivation, martial techniques, cultivation techniques, combat experience, and secret treasures. Yao Yan brought out the might of the secret treasures to their limits. Even Emperor Wu could only bring out the might of 1 emperor-grade secret treasure. Any more and he would not have enough energy to support it. However, Yao Yan brought out the might of 4 emperor-grade secret treasures. In the end, it was all thanks to Xiaoqin for helping her eliminate the evil demon of the Neptune Palace. Otherwise, she would not have had the Neptune Palace to provide her with an endless supply of energy. With just the Thorn Sovereign Circlet, Yao Yan would not be able to bring out the full might of the 4 Neptune secret treasures. Sorry, young Master Xiao. In the end, you still misjudged me. On the 1,000-feathered snake, Yao Yan, who had a supreme might and changed temperament, said this after thinking for a while. However, Yao Yan is very gratified that young master survived. My original intention was to use the 3 treasures of the merfolk race to exchange for the purple thunder true fire. I never thought of putting young Master Xiao in danger. Xiao Chen's expression remained calm. He smiled faintly and said, "Is your highness blaming yourself? There is no need. You carry the hopes of the 9 Emperor Wu clansmen, and I carry the title of the Qing Emperor's descendant. There are some things that are beyond my control, beyond my heart. I did not misjudge you. At the very least, your highness still remembers Xiao Qin now." Beyond my control, beyond my heart, Yao Yan repeated this a few times. As she looked at Xiao Qin, she felt somewhat rueful. It turned out that even the carefree young Master Xiao had times when he could not control himself, beyond his heart. Whoosh! Yao Yan's eyes cleared up. She flicked the Holy Beast Medallion and said, "This is the race's supreme treasure, the Holy Beast Medallion. It can even seal a holy beast as strong as Emperor Wu clansman and control it freely. Now, my 1,000-feathered snake no longer needs this medallion, so I'll leave it to young master. In the future, when young master is conferred king in Bushan Palace, Yao Yan will definitely present a great gift to thank young master for his great kindness." After saying that, she stood on the ancient mutated beast with 1,000 feathers and 1,000 wings and sank to the bottom of the sea, drifting off somewhere. Xiao Qin received the Holy Beast Medallion and looked at the vast sea. Then, he smiled faintly and turned around. "I hope this girl can resolve the knot in her heart. Otherwise, the 9 martial emperors' painstaking efforts would have been wasted." The merfolk race was content in a corner, trapped in the chaotic demonic sea for 10,000 years, always excluded from the heavenly starry sea. If this continued, the merfolk race would continue to decline. If they did not save themselves, they would seek their own destruction, enslaved by others. Beyond my control, beyond my heart. From the start until now, Xiao Qin had always followed his heart and made decisions. He had never been beyond his control. With a flip of his hand, the 2 secret manuals from the Qing Emperor painting and that medallion floated before Xiao Qin again. Xiao Qin stretched out his hand and grasped the medallion. The azure-colored medallion had a dragon carved on the front and a totem on the back. The medallion's material was unknown, but it was extremely heavy, no less than 500 kilograms. The blue dragon on the front was very visible, looking like a living creature about to leap out of the medallion. When Xiao Qin looked carefully, the majestic and boundless Kunlun mountain range appeared in his mind. Then, a blue dragon leaped out of the mountains. Its aura swallowed up the surroundings and seas. With one roar, the mountains and rivers turned to ashes, and the clouds disappeared. This was the true blue dragon. Another person appeared in the mountains, standing in the distance and holding a saber. As this person stood in the air, he looked down at the blue dragon with overwhelming pride. This person roared at the blue dragon. His voice was like thunder, forcefully suppressing the blue dragon's roar. A sharp light soared into the clouds. The blue dragon was not convinced. One dragon and one person fought in the Kunlun mountain range. With a thought, Xiao Qin carefully visualized the scene. This was his Xiao clan's old ancestor subduing the dragon. Dragon subduing / dragon subduing / The 2 words, subduing the dragon, were the true mysteries of the dragon subduing the dragon. Everything else was insignificant. However, the blue dragon was a holy beast of the world, possessing the bloodline of the true dragon. It was easier said than done for an ordinary person to subdue a dragon. Xiao Qin sat down cross-legged and followed the old ancestor's movements in his mind. He materialized the 13 moves of the dragon subduing / trying to figure out the old ancestor's mysteries of subduing the dragon. This lasted for half a month. When Xiao Qin opened his eyes again, his understanding of the dragon subduing / suddenly became clear. The entire dragon subduing / was condensed into the words, subduing the dragon. Revealing joy on his face, Xiao Qin stood up and carefully put away the blue dragon medallion. Then, he looked at the blue dragon totem on the back. Needless to say, the old ancestor definitely succeeded in subduing the dragon. Otherwise, there would not be such a totem to benefit the later generations. Xiaoqin pushed off the ground and soared into the air. 18 blue dragons appeared around him, all submitting to him, raising his aura even higher than the sky. The 18 blue dragons roared in unison, shattering the mountains and rivers and scattering the clouds. My heart is flawless, and no one can stop me from subduing the dragon. Chop! Xiaoqin shouted and felt the law energy in his body pour out like a waterfall. Many blue dragons surged out from his fingertips, forming saber lights that shot out endlessly. The saber lights immediately tore through the sea like it was tofu. When the azure light scattered, Xiaoqin stretched out his hand, and the seawater flowed back. A huge, 1 kilometer-wide pit appeared on the flat surface of the sea. It looked like someone had dug out a large piece of it. After a while, the seawater in the surroundings surged over. The waves were 100 meters tall, forming an overwhelming tsunami that rushed towards the beach. There was a loud rumble as if thousands of soldiers and horses were moving, shaking the heavens and earth. Xiaoqin smiled faintly and withdrew his hand in satisfaction. The power of subduing the dragon, overturning the seas and rivers. I can do that as well. Although I cannot compare to the current Empress Yao Yan or those martial emperors, I relied on my own strength to do so. I truly did it. Sooner or later, I will truly be able to overturn the seas and rivers. I will be able to easily overturn the entire chaotic demonic sea. Xiaoqin solemnly put away the blue dragon medallion. This medallion probably had other uses. It was not just to help the younger generation comprehend the mysteries of the dragon subduing slash. Xiaoqin looked at the other 2 secret manuals and flipped open the first one. The words, Blue Dragon Body Nourishing Art, were written on the cover. This was a deity body tempering art of a higher rank than the firmament body tempering art. Xiaoqin could not help but rejoice. As for his strength, he had been stuck at 2,500 tons of force for a long time. This Blue Dragon Body Nourishing Art would solve his urgent problem. After putting away the secret manual, Xiaoqin opened the other secret manual and started reading it. He anticipated the pleasant surprise this secret manual would bring him. The pages of this secret manual were completely black, giving off a heavy, oppressive, and uncomfortable feeling. Xiaoqin only took one look at it, and he was already deeply captivated. As the pages flipped, Xiaoqin's expression slowly turned grave. After flipping through a few pages, he felt his mind waver, as if he was about to sink into it. He quickly calmed himself and closed the book with a "pa" sound. This was actually a demonic cultivation technique. If he was not careful, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. It was called the Good and Evil Beneficence Art. Beneficence was the crux of cultivating this cultivation technique. One could obtain beneficence by doing good or evil. The greater the benevolence, the greater the beneficence, and the stronger one's cultivation. The more evil one did, the more beneficence one would obtain. Good and evil could be separated by a thought. The theory behind this cultivation technique was unheard of or seen before. Beneficence could actually increase one's strength. More importantly, one could obtain beneficence by doing good or evil. Just thinking about it made Xiaoqin tremble in fear. This cultivation technique could not be left behind. If the loose cultivators of the primal chaos domain obtained it, how horrifying would that be? Did the Qing Emperor cultivate this cultivation technique? Chapter 9:14. Xiaoqin instantly felt confused. If he did not cultivate it, why would this secret manual be hidden in the Qing Emperor's drawing the saber painting? Xiaoqin thought about the Qing Emperor's life. He became a martial emperor at the age of 100 and was unrivaled for an entire era. Even the older generation experts were not a match for him. He passed down some of the deeds of the Qing Emperor. If the other sovereign noble clans and ancient races were not convinced, he would uproot them. Precisely because of this, the Qing Emperor earned the title of absolute overlord. Rather than saying he was tyrannical, it would be more accurate to describe him as ferocious. Killing people was evil. Exterminating an entire clan was the greatest evil in the world. After piecing everything together, Xiaoqin felt somewhat disappointed. It looked like the Qing Emperor really did cultivate this good and evil beneficence art. Boom! Boom! Suddenly, a few sharp winds appeared on the surface of the sea. The winds were like knives, splitting the seawater in half. Then, a few men and women appeared on the beach. Someone is here. Xiaochen turned his head to look. These people did not look like they were from the Kunlun realm's 5 domains. They were dressed like cultivators from overseas. Their auras were deep, and most of them were superior-grade martial sages. They exuded an air of arrogance. Xiaochen! One of the men exclaimed in shock when he recognized Xiaochen. Ha! Unexpectedly, you are still here after killing the top true inheritor of the Xianshui sect. This person was no more than 30 years old and carried a spear on his back. He looked at Xiaochen and smiled. For the sake of your head, the Xianshui sect's sect master offered a Peak King grade secret treasure and a Peak Spirit vein. Unexpectedly, you are just a medial grade martial sage. A girl at the side smiled and said, Senior brother, you received an invitation from Diwuk to discuss the Heroes Convention. If you kill this brat, not only will you obtain the reward from the Xianshui sect's sect master, but you will also have more confidence when speaking to Diwuk. Xiaochen felt mildly astonished. Diwuk's Heroes Convention actually spread to the heavenly starry ocean. Xiaochen did not know which sect these 5 people were from, but their tone was strangely arrogant. It was as though Xiaochen was already dead. Xiaochen took a careful look. The cultivation of the man leading the group was decent. This person seemed to cultivate some kind of divine cultivation art. His acupoints all closed, absorbing the astral energy of the universe. Indistinct starlight spurted out from his body, adding a hint of charm. The 4 people next to him also practiced star power, but the starlight they emitted was far inferior to his. Their sect should be a sect that specialized in studying the heavenly cycle stars. Xiaochen was not unfamiliar with astral energy. Long Fei's 9 heavenly astral art was one such cultivation technique. However, Long Fei also cultivated the white bone art. In terms of profoundness, it was not comparable to these people. Which sect are you from in the heavenly starry ocean? Xiao, Tian, was the heaven. Of sect, of the Chen of the sect. Yun, Yi of the Chen of Tian, of Dao of Chen of sect of Chen of the demon. Don't make a move. Let me test him out. Let's see how capable a fellow who dares to be so unbridled before Emperor Wu is. Yi Qing smiled proudly. Then, he swung the spear on his back, and a banner fluttered in the wind. Don't make a move. Let me test him out. Let's see how capable this fellow, who dares to be so unbridled before Emperor Wu, is. Yi Qing smiled proudly. Then, he swung the spear on his back, and a banner fluttered in the wind. My Big Dipper banner still lacks 3 stars to refine. I can use your death to exchange for resources to refine it. Die. Yi Qing waved the banner, and starlight filled the sky. 4 stars, Dubhe, Merak, Mystery, and Celestial, floated out of the banner. They hung high in the air and formed a dokuei. Then, 3 stars formed the handle, and it was a complete constellation. Bathed in the starlight, Yi Qing's acupoints opened up, shining with the starlight. He appeared to be in high spirits. As he walked, he looked like a celestial lord. Kill! Yi Qing shook the banner above the starlight, and the starlight gathered together. The red banner unfurled, covering the sky and covering the sun, trying to wrap around Xiaochen. This simple move was filled with might. It swooped down amidst the starlight. Senior brother Yi actually already condensed 4 stars of the Big Dipper, forming half a constellation. When did this happen? Ha! Senior brother just condensed it half a month ago. Among the younger generation of our astral palace, aside from first senior brother who completed the astral banner, only senior brother Yi can condense half a constellation. The gentle girl's eyes flickered with starlight as she spoke proudly. Senior brother Yi has the support of the Yi clan. He is indeed rich and overbearing. Us junior generation disciples have to work for several years just to condense 1 star. Half a constellation can already form a small cycle. It is completely different from an astral banner with 1 or 2 stars. In just 10 moves, senior brother Yi will definitely be able to take down this Xiao Chen. Of course. I heard that this Xiao Chen once humiliated Diwuk. If senior brother takes his head, he will definitely gain a lot of benefits from Diwuk. The group of Big Dipper Palace disciples watching the battle exclaimed excitedly as they looked at the incomparably insignificant Xiao Chen under the starlight. When the banner unfurled, it indeed looked very mighty. When Xiao Chen looked up, all he saw were red banners. He did not know what these banners were made of. Xiao Chen entered deep thought. Then, he activated the vague form of his saber soul. Using his finger as a saber, he gently sliced the banner flying at him. Creak. Even with 50% of Xiao Chen's strength, he only managed to leave a mark on the banner. It did not break. Xiao Chen could not help but feel surprised. However, this startled Yi Qing. This Big Dipper banner was the life secret treasure of the Big Dipper Palace disciples. It was connected to their minds. When Xiao Chen sliced it, it was like a knife sliced through his mind. It was incredibly painful. Yi Qing quickly retreated. When he lifted the banner, he felt even more heartache. The banner, which was made of more than 100 materials, actually nearly broke from a casual slash. When Yi Qing looked up at Xiao Chen, he could not help but feel astonished. What kind of monster is this fellow? Yi Qing did not dare to unfurl the banner again. He shook his right hand, and the banner curled up. Using the astral banner as a spear, he charged at Xiao Chen. This was the first time Xiao Chen met a cultivator who cultivated astral energy. He dealt with it unhurriedly, wanting to see how capable he was. After fighting for a while, Xiao Chen felt slightly disappointed. Even with 50% of Xiao Chen's strength, he could deal with it easily. He did not feel any pressure at all. He had a feeling that this Big Dipper Palace was not a big sect in the heavenly starry ocean. In reality, Xiao Chen guessed right. The Big Dipper Palace was just a branch of the Zodiac Hall. In the Zodiac Hall, there were also the Purple Star Palace, the 9 Bright Star Palace, the 7 Fiends Star Palace, the Sun Palace, the Moon Palace, and the other 24 palaces. The Big Dipper Palace was the lowest-ranked palace. Only when all 7 stars were gathered would it be somewhat powerful. However, half a star was insufficient before Xiao Chen. Just as Xiao Chen was about to give up, Yi Qing saw that he could not take down the Big Dipper Palace. He roared ferociously and pointed with his banner. The Merak star fell towards Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen's eyes lit up, and a bright moon rose behind him. Flawless bright moon. He stretched out his hand, and the bright moon clashed with this Merak star. Bang! The bright moon hung high in the sky, and the Merak star shattered into countless specks of starlight, falling into the Big Dipper banner. Yi Qing vomited a mouthful of blood, and the Big Dipper banner danced wildly. The remaining Merak star, Heavenly Fate star, and Migres star continuously fell. Xiao Chen's sea of consciousness surged, and his magic energy burned. The bright moon looked like fire, resplendent in the sky, shattering 3 stars. The starlight scattered, and only the bright moon remained. The mysterious phenomenon materialized by the other party's Big Dipper banner crumbled completely. Electric light flashed under Xiao Chen's feet. He flew forward and snatched the other party's Big Dipper banner. Then, he casually punched and knocked the other party back, vomiting blood. Who? The banner unfurled, and Xiao Chen's strong spiritual sense instantly destroyed the other party's spiritual mark. This Big Dipper banner immediately changed owners. My Big Dipper banner, Yi Qing said with a pained expression. For the sake of condensing this Big Dipper banner, he had exhausted a lot of his clan's resources. Now that he lost it so easily, he had lost a lot of face. Not bad. I can barely use it, Xiao Chen commented. Then, he raised his head and looked at the others. The few of you have Big Dipper banners as well, right? Take them out, and I won't kill you. Yi Qing's defeat and loss of the banner happened in just a few breaths. Those people still could not react to it. What's wrong? You don't understand me. Xiao Chen's expression turned cold as he circulated his flawless saber Dao. The bright moon in the sky turned into a saber light as bright as snow, disappearing in a flash as if it had never appeared. The others could not understand what was going on. They could not sense anything strange at all. Only Yi Qing, who was at the side, trembled in fright. He pointed with a trembling finger. Only then did the others discover that a thin saber wound had appeared on their necks at some point in time, so thin that it was barely visible. Their hearts immediately sank. They felt their palms and the backs of their hands break out in a cold sweat. The others showed bitter expressions as they wiped away their spiritual marks. Then, they handed their Big Dipper banners to Xiao Chen. Most of them only had 1 or 2 stars on them. They could not compare to Yi Qing's. Xiao Chen smiled as he carefully put away the Big Dipper banners. Then, he consoled them, as you wander the world, there will always be some setbacks. The Kunlun continent is very dangerous. Don't come here in the future. Don't participate in any heroes' convention either. It is not for you children. Don't get cocky. Our first senior brother is already a guest of the deity race. He has gathered all 7 stars and formed a complete constellation. Killing you is like killing a dog, the gentle-looking female disciple said ruthlessly. When Yi Qing heard this, she was startled. She pulled the girl over and said, Big brother Xiao Chen, don't mind her. My junior sister is just a little unruly and willful. She does not mean what she says. This is the method to refine the Big Dipper banner. Big brother Xiao, you do not have the method to refine the Big Dipper banner. Xiao Chen did not stand on ceremony and accepted the secret manual that the other party handed over. Then, he glanced at the girl and turned to leave. Only when Xiao Chen was completely gone did Yi Qing release her bated breath. Then, she pulled a long face and said to the girl, Junior sister Lu, don't speak nonsense in the future. It is fine if you get yourself killed, but you will implicate us. That girl was clearly unconvinced. She said, Senior brother, you must have been beaten silly. Someone snatched away your Big Dipper banner, and you even obediently handed over the method to refine the Big Dipper banner. We should quickly report this to first senior brother and get him to help us snatch back the Big Dipper banner. Yi Qing smiled coldly and said, I'm not as stupid as you. Why don't you take a look at your own strength first? To think that you dare to speak so ruthlessly. This person did not even use half his strength against me. Not to mention first senior brother, even the seniors of our Big Dipper palace might not be a match for him. The only ones who can stop him are probably those freakish disciples of the Sun Palace, the Moon Palace, and the Purple Star Palace. Chapter 9:15. The girl with the family name Lu still felt dissatisfied in her heart. She said, We are Zodiac Hall disciples. He will not dare to do anything to us. Senior brother, you are clearly a coward, finding excuses for yourself. Fool. He does not even give face to Emperor Wu. How could he fear our Big Dipper palace? Ignorant. If you want to look for first senior brother, go by yourself. Yi Qing could not be bothered to say more. He turned and left, leaving behind the stunned girl and the other disciples. The others did not leave immediately. Their astral banners had been snatched away. They did not know how much time it would take to refine the astral banners again. They still hoped that first senior brother could help them snatch back their astral banners. Xiao Chen was rather interested in the Big Dipper banner. The magic treasure that he obtained, the Greenwood banner, was actually a kind of astral banner. It refined the energy of the Greenwood star and brought out the strong energy of the Greenwood star to trap the enemy. After finding a quiet place, Xiao Chen carefully looked through the Big Dipper Palace's method of refining the Big Dipper banner. The method was not complicated. However, the resources it required flabbergasted Xiao Chen. Condensing one of the stars in the Big Dipper banner required 365 astral cores to be refined into an astral pearl, supplemented by 50 kilograms of black patterned gold. Even if he used inferior-grade astral cores, Xiaoqin estimated that he would need more than 300,000 black astral coins. That would be 30 million astral coins. Adding in 50 kilograms of black patterned gold, that would be about 600,000 black astral coins. Furthermore, this did not include the resources needed for the banner and the flagpole. Adding them all together, it was an astronomical figure. If Xiaoqin wanted to condense astral pearls of better quality, he would have to double the price. He would also have to add in another divine material. Normally, the more supplementary materials there were, the better the quality of the banner would be. The few astral banners that Xiaoqin collected, including Yi Qing's, were all astral pearls refined from inferior-grade astral cores. The top-notch Big Dipper banner had a flagpole made of 5,000 kilograms of dark fire mystic copper and black patterned gold. The astral pearls were all made of peak-grade astral cores, supplemented by 99 divine materials, each weighing 500 kilograms. The 7 stars formed a constellation that emitted a golden radiance. The radiance of the stars could compete for brilliance with the sun and moon. With a wave of the flag, the 7 stars shattered the moon, mountains and rivers turned to ashes, rivers and seas overturned, and they swept through everything before them. 7 astral pearls could shatter the moon, turning mountains and rivers into ashes, overturning the sea and sweeping everything in its path. Based on the secret manual that Yi Qing handed over, Xiaoqin understood that the Big Dipper Palace was just a branch of the cyclic astral palace, like a branch of a sect. Furthermore, it ranked last. Aside, there were 3 purple star palaces, each of which star astral banner star. King, there, and, he, astral star palaces, star. Star flags of star. Star flags of Star of Qin needed. The resources. As the Qi, Yang star. The amount of resources needed to refine a solar astral banner was equivalent to that of 100 ordinary Big Dipper banners. Due to the sheer number of resources required, the Sun and Moon palaces only had 1 disciple per bloodline, accepting only 1 disciple each. However, these were not the most horrifying. The most horrifying thing was that the Zodiac Hall also had a Zodiac Hall diagram. It contained the constellations of the 24 astral palaces. Each astral pearl was refined from a peak-grade spirit stone and supplemented with 99 divine materials. How many stars were there in the 24 constellations? How many resources were needed? Just thinking about it gave Xiaoqin a headache. When the diagram unfurled, starlight filled the sky. It could reverse day and night, distort time and space. It could even refine Emperor Wu alive. It was a peak Emperor-grade secret treasure. Xiaoqin was flabbergasted. Fortunately, he ran into the people of the Big Dipper Palace. If he ran into the disciples of the other astral palaces, it would not have been so easy. Originally, Xiaoqin did not care much about the first senior brother of the Big Dipper Palace. However, when he heard that female astral palace disciples say that the other party had already completed the Big Dipper Palace banner, he really had to pay attention to this person. Then this person really had to pay attention. A complete star dipper and half a star dipper were like heaven and earth. What gave Xiaoqin a headache was the Heroes' Convention. He had not expected Diwuk to move so quickly. The prestige of the Heroes' Convention had already spread to the heavenly starry ocean. Roping in the first senior brother of the Big Dipper Palace was probably just the beginning. If the entire Zodiac Hall sided with him, he would be able to open up the situation in the heavenly starry ocean. Tossing aside these thoughts, Xiaoqin looked at Yi Qing's Big Dipper banner. He still lacked 3 stars. Immediately, an idea popped into his head. Xiaoqin did not lack black patterned gold. Back when he was on Dragonwood Star, Huangpu Feng had not given him anything else. However, he had given him quite a bit of black patterned gold and some inferior-grade astral cores. After Xiaoqin melted the astral banners of the others and used the resources he had on hand, he should be able to replenish Yi Qing's Big Dipper banner. Xiaoqin had thought that no matter what, he had once been rather rich. However, when he looked at the secret treasures of the Big Dipper Palace, he realized that he was just a pauper. I am too poor. I can't even refine a medial-grade Big Dipper banner. After muttering to himself for a while, Xiaoqin spat out the dragon phoenix cauldron and killed the half-dead evil demon clone. Then, he took out the golden crow egg and tossed in all the astral banners. The lunar true flame in Xiaoqian's left eye entered the cauldron with a boom and started to melt these secret treasures. Melting the secret treasures was not difficult. All he needed to do was control the flame well and simmer it slowly. After half a day, Xiaoqin melted all 4 astral banners. He sorted out the astral cores, the black patterned gold, and the other resources. Xiaoqin looked through the refining secret manual that Yi Qing handed over again. Now, he felt more confident. After the sky turned dark, he started to add an inferior grade astral cores to refine astral beads. There was almost no chance of failure when refining inferior grade astral beads. The first astral bead that Xiaoqin refined was the Alioth star, the 5th star of the Big Dipper. Xiaoqin raised his head and looked for the Big Dipper. Then, he visualized the Alioth star for 1 hour before starting. The refinement of the first astral bead took a long time. Xiaoqin busied himself from dusk until dawn before he finally finished. The palm-sized astral bead floated in his palm. Xiaoqin heaved a sigh of relief and took out the Big Dipper banner with his right hand. Then, he inserted this astral bead into it, and a resplendent astral bead appeared on the fluttering banner. Compared to the other 4 astral beads, this astral bead was much dimmer. This was because there was too little astral energy in it and it lacked accumulation. With the experience of refining the Alioth star, the refinement of the Mizar star and the Alcade star went much smoother. All he had to do was pile up the materials and heat them over a flame. There were no inferior grade astral beads, so there was no need for high refining techniques. Only Xiaoqin could refine them so easily. Most of the Big Dipper Palace disciples did not have the Dragon Phoenix Cauldron or the Lunar True Flame. Hence, they had to pay black astral coins to the refining pavilion's elders to refine astral beads. When Xiaoqin infused the remaining 2 astral beads into the Big Dipper banner, Xiaoqin immediately felt the Big Dipper banner undergo an earth-shattering change. The 7 stars officially became a complete constellation. The astral energy in the sky formed a great cycle, flowing with light and vibrant colors. Xiaoqin unfurled the Big Dipper banner, and it fluttered in the wind. The 7 resplendent astral beads continuously absorbed the astral energy of the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper in the night sky sent down 7 pillars of starlight. Xiaoqin tested the might of the Big Dipper banner. Then, he casually waved his hand, and the astral banner whistled loudly. Abundant astral energy poured out. Everywhere the astral energy passed, the starlight became resplendent and crackled like endless thunder, deafening the ears. Ka! Xiaoqin swept up the astral banner and stabbed it into the ground. A surging astral energy spread out, and a crack immediately appeared in the ground. In the blink of an eye, it extended for a kilometer, looking like the ground had been sliced in half. Xiaoqin gaped in disbelief. After the constellation was formed, the might of the Big Dipper banner was actually so horrifying. Furthermore, Xiaoqin had not cultivated the Big Dipper art yet. If he used the Big Dipper art to drive the complete Big Dipper banner, its might would be even greater. Xiaoqin was overjoyed. He excitedly twirled the astral banner in the air. The 7 stars appeared together and materialized the constellation. Holding the Big Dipper banner, Xiaoqin walked among it. It was like he was strolling in the Milky Way sky. With a gentle wave, he used the power of the constellation, and the entire space trembled intensely. Good. 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 With this Big Dipper banner, the 5-element medallion and the greenwood banner, I do not need to fear anyone during the king conferral ceremony. Xiaoqin put away the Big Dipper banner in satisfaction and started on his way. The king conferral ceremony was about to begin. Xiaoqin would obtain the title of Blue Dragon King. From then on, he would officially carry the title of Qing Emperor's descendant and shoulder the heavy responsibility of re-establishing the Dragon's Gate. After crossing the yellow soil demonic garden, Xiaoqin traveled quickly. Soon, he arrived at a small city at the edge of the primal chaos domain. After traveling for half a month, Xiao Chen was already tired. He found the largest inn in the city and took a good bath. Then, he ordered a table full of delicacies to reward himself. Something big happened recently. The Bushin Palace delayed the white-robed King Xiao Chen's king conferral ceremony. Xiao Chen had just sat down and finished a cup of wine when he heard news about himself in the inn. Furthermore, it was such explosive news. Damn it! Is that true? Didn't they say that the king conferral ceremony would be held soon? It's absolutely true. The 3 holy lords of the Bushin Palace personally passed down the edict. How could it be fake? The news has already spread throughout the Tianwu domain. They won't cancel it, right? This is really too much. It won't be cancelled. However, the title will be problematic. I heard that the 3 holy lords do not intend to give him the title of Blue Dragon King. This title is too sensitive. Isn't it the white-robed king? White-robed king, my ass. That was spread by that bastard, Qi Wuxue. Everyone who is slightly older knows about it. The Qing Emperor's title is Blue Dragon King. Xiao Chen is a descendant of the Qing Emperor. He definitely has to inherit this title. When Xiao Chen heard this, he frowned slightly. The title of Blue Dragon King was very important to him. If not for this title, he would not mind giving up this king title. In the future, when Xiao Chen advanced to Sovereign Martial Emperor, he could be conferred king himself. The title of Blue Dragon King would definitely belong to him. Xiao Chen rushed back in a rush and did not have time to do many things before he heard this news. He drank a mouthful of wine to drown his sorrows, feeling somewhat conflicted. Ha! Our white-robed king, why are you drinking alone? The few of us old fellows will accompany you to this final cup of wine. Xiao Chen looked up and saw a white-clad old man sitting across from him. This old man had a scholarly air and a murderous intent on his face. 2 other old men sat on the left and right as well, all of them harboring malicious intentions. The Heaven and Earth Sect inner sect elder who left a strand of the heavenly fate in Xiao Chen's body had finally found him. Xiao Chen put down his wine cup and smiled coldly. Where did this bunch of nobodies come from? Are you even fit to drink with me? Chapter 9:16. Xiao Chen was not surprised that these 3 people from the Heaven and Earth sect found him. Back then, the Haotian Emperor wanted to help Xiao Chen erase that strand of fate. However, Xiao Chen was unwilling and had been waiting for this day. The white-clad old man's expression turned cold. What a nobody. 2 years ago, I crushed you and forced you to flee in panic. To think that you dare to say such things. Be sensible and hand over the peak-grade immortal spirit ring and the lunar cassia tree to us. Otherwise, you will find it hard to escape. This small city is already filled with boundless danger, the old man on the right said in a cold voice. Xiao Chen thought about it and understood what was going on. These 3 people must have leaked his movements. Now, he had enemies everywhere. There were many people who wanted to kill him, many of them experts. Could they all be in this small city? With a thought, his spiritual sense spread out in all directions like the tide. The scene in the city entered his mind. However, he did not see any powerful enemies. It looked like these 3 people did not want others to divide the treasures on them. Those people should be on their way. However, did they not know Xiao Chen's current strength? It looked like they had something to rely on. Otherwise, they would not have dared to charge over with just 3 people. The old man on the left smiled coldly. Young Master Xiao is really calm. Even now, your expression does not change. Do you really think that the 3 of us came without any preparations? When I drink, I hate it when people talk in my ear. You all deserve to die. Xiao Chen's expression turned cold. He grasped the Big Dipper banner in his hand and thrust it at the white-clad old man in front in the time it took for a spark to fly. The tip of the banner flickered with starlight. This strike was like a meteor falling from the sky, extremely fast. Bang! A loud explosion rang out, and the sage-grade inner armor the white-clad old man wore shattered. He vomited a mouthful of blood as he was sent flying, crashing through the inn. Xiao Qian did not even unfurl the banner. He used it as a spear and swept it out. This startled the two old men on the left and right. They quickly moved and retreated. A berserk aura spread out, shocking the cultivators in the inn. A battle on the level of superior-grade martial sages was about to begin. They all fled very quickly. Xiao Qian picked up the unfinished wine cup on the table and drained it. Then, he left behind a black astral coin and gave chase with a faint smile. He had been waiting for these three old fools for a long time. Did they really think that he was still the same as he was 2 years ago? No matter what he had prepared, these three people would definitely die this time. Xiao Qian, you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. We won't kill you today, but we'll cripple you and break one of your arms. We'll let you taste the feeling of falling from the peak to the bottom. The white-robed old man changed into a new set of clothes and floated in the air as he shouted. A blood-red sword floated above his head. Strands of blood-red sword light flowed around it, and it was filled with killing intent. The two old men outside surrounded Xiao Qian. An identical blood sword floated above their heads as well. The three blood swords formed a triangle with Xiao Qian in the center. The sword lights attracted each other, and the thousands of swords buzzed. Thousands of sword images encased the surrounding 1 kilometer, spreading killing intent. What a dense killing chi! These three blood swords probably had great origins. They should be king-grade secret treasures. King-grade secret treasures were very mighty. Before one reached Grandmaster-level martial sage, it would be very difficult to bring out their full might. The three of them could bring out 80% of the king-grade secret treasures might by controlling it. No wonder they were so confident of killing Xiao Qian. Xiao Qian, these three blood swords are called Killing Immortal, Beheading Immortal, and Murdering Immortal. They are replicas of the three ancient immortal swords. Our church master personally refined them. Now that you are trapped in them, without a Grandmaster-level martial sage cultivation, there is no way for you to escape. The skinny old man held the Killing Immortal sword above his head, appearing very confident and incredibly arrogant. The elegant white-clad old man held the Killing Immortal sword above his head. He smiled and said, Xiao Qian, this old man considers that it is not easy for you to cultivate and that youths are prideful. If you kowtow to us and admit your mistake, then hand over the peak-grade immortal spirit ring and the lunar cassia tree, we can let bygones be bygones. This was a small city at the edge of the primal chaos domain. Normally, major characters rarely came here. Today, 3 superior-grade martial sages with king-grade secret treasures appeared, attracting the attention of many cultivators in the city. Now, after hearing the white-clad old man's words, it turned out that the youth the three faced was famous throughout the world. The shocking appearance of the Qing Emperor's descendant, Xiao Qian, immediately set the small city abuzz. Crowds of people crowded around the battlefield, watching. This is Xiao Qian. Indeed, he is extraordinary. Even when 3 older generation superior-grade martial sages from the Heaven and Earth sect came with the king-grade secret treasures, the 3 immortal swords, his expression did not change. Unexpectedly, he has a peak-grade immortal spirit ring. I heard that even Emperor Wu is envious of this thing. Emperor Wu already grasped his heavenly laws. He can refine the space in the peak-grade immortal spirit ring into a small world. How could he not be envious? Furthermore, only a peak-grade immortal spirit ring can nurture a sage-grade spirit tree or higher. The value of the lunar cassia tree is not low either. The Medicine God Valley has been buying this sage-grade spirit tree at a sky-high price. Unexpectedly, Xiao Qian has won. An innocent man gets into trouble because of his wealth. Just these 2 things alone will make me unable to resist making a move. Many discussions broke out as they looked at Xiao Qian, who was surrounded by scarlet sword lights. They anticipated how Xiao Qian would resolve this situation. The names Killing Immortal, Beheading Immortal, and Murdering Immortal were rather scary. As Xiao Qin sized up the 3 scarlet swords, he made some calculations in his heart. Soon, he came up with an idea. These 3 immortal swords were just replicas. Furthermore, they were the inferior ones among the replicas. The divine materials used were extremely rare. The truly troublesome part was the massacre chi in the swords. Clearly, the sect master of the Heaven and Earth sect was a very skilled refiner. Using these mediocre materials, he managed to materialize the true essence of the 3 immortal swords. Xiao Qin estimated that he had to kill at least 1,000 ferocious beasts to collect the massacre chi in the swords. However, while others feared this massacre chi, Xiao Qin did not. A light flickered on his forehead, and the massacre chi in the scarlet throne in his sea of consciousness flowed endlessly into the Big Dipper banner. Everyone, you are thinking of settling the past in one go. However, this Xiao does not think so. The 20 medial grade astral cores that I lost cannot be lost for nothing. Today, I will test out these 3 immortal swords. Who? Xiao Qin flicked his wrist, and the scarlet banner wrapped around the spear unfurled. The first thing that appeared was not starlight but a boundless massacre chi. The red light spread out as if it was solid. This chi of massacre formed a baleful wind. As it blew in all directions, it instantly suppressed the chi of massacre in the 3 immortal swords. In an instant, Xiao Qin turned the tables. 7 stars flickering, moon shattering. After gaining the initiative, Xiao Qin laughed loudly and started waving the banner. The 7 stars of the Big Dipper, Dubhe, Merak, Megrez, Alioth, Mizar, and Alcade, lit up on the scarlet banner, releasing resplendent starlight. As the banner fluttered, starlight shone in all directions. The 7 stars shot out one by one, forming a constellation that filled the sky with starlight. This encased the 3 immortal swords in the starry sky. The 3 old men from the Heaven and Earth sect had not expected the situation to take a turn for the worse. They quickly executed the killing immortal, beheading immortal, and murdering immortal. Many scarlet sword images shot out, wanting to kill Xiao Qin on the spot. Dang! 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 Boundless starlight descended and blocked all the scarlet sword images, unable to do anything to them. Xiao Qin smiled coldly. As he held the Big Dipper banner, starlight fell from the sky. It was like he was walking in the starry sky of the universe, looking boundlessly elegant. 7 stars falling, mountains and rivers turned to ashes. Xiao Qin pointed, and the 7 stars fell towards the 3 old men. In this starry sky, the 7 astral pearls were like real stars. When they fell, space trembled, forming ripples that radiated out. The entire small city was affected by the shockwave. Houses collapsed one after another. The 3 old men were greatly startled. They no longer cared about using the scarlet sword images to kill Xiao Qin. They worked together and formed a continuous screen of scarlet sword images, trying to block the 7 falling stars. However, how could they block it? When the 7 stars appeared, they formed a complete constellation. Starlight flowed between them, forming a compact whole. Even Xiao Qin did not dare to receive it head-on. Ka-xie! Ka-xie! The scarlet sword images shattered, and the 3 old men from the Heaven and Earth sect vomited a mouthful of blood. The 3 immortal swords hovering above their heads seemed to lose control. Let's go. This is the Big Dipper banner of the Big Dipper Palace. I don't know where this demonic genius obtained it, but it is actually a complete Big Dipper banner. We are not a match for him. The white-clad old man grasped the immortal killing sword and hacked apart the sticky killing chi. Then, he endured the attacks of the scattered starlight, trying to flee. Xiao Qin laughed loudly and withdrew the banner. The 7 stars returned to the banner, and the Big Dipper banner filled with boundless astral energy again. Don't the few of you want my peak-grade immortal spirit ring and my arm? Why the rush to leave? Come back here. The wind howled, and the Big Dipper banner fluttered loudly. Then, it unfurled, covering the sky and the sun. Xiao Qin waved his hand, and starlight surged out, pulling back the 3 fleeing people. Whoosh! Whoosh! Xiaochen twisted his wrist, and the banner returned to the pole. The Big Dipper banner continued to absorb the astral energy, making the pole shine with starlight like a powerful divine spear. Xiaochen stretched out his hand, and the spear gathered all the scattered killing qi. Ka-cca. The spear pierced through the hearts of the three old men like dumplings and hung them in the Big Dipper banner. The three inner sect elders of the Heaven and Earth sect were impaled on the flagpole. Rage filled their eyes as they died with grievances. Such a scene was very shocking. All the cultivators in the city were horrified. Three older generation martial sages had come with king-grade secret treasures, but they still died such miserable deaths. The Big Dipper banner trembled gently, and starlight exploded. The three corpses were blasted into nothingness. Xiaochen waved his hand and took the spatial rings of the three old men. He also took the immortal killing sword, the immortal killing sword, and the immortal murdering sword. The might of the three immortal swords was extraordinary. Unfortunately, the quality of the materials used to forge them was not high. Furthermore, Xiaochen's massacre throne countered their killing qi. Before Xiaochen's Big Dipper banner, they were mere decorations. If it were any other king-grade secret treasure, Xiaochen would not have had such an easy time. At the very least, he would have had to put in a lot of effort. When Xiaochen looked down, he saw that the entire city was in ruins. The cultivators in the air all had complicated expressions as they looked at him. Some were in awe, some were in greed, and most of them were in fear. Chapter 9:17. He could not remain here for long. The three people from the Heaven and Earth sect must have leaked news of him. Now that the Bushin Palace suddenly delayed his king conferral ceremony, it sent a bad signal. Although Xiaochen was a human cultivator, the Bushin Palace would not do their best to protect him. The enemies of the Qing Emperor would probably get restless. Not to mention in the dark, Xiaochen knew that the three sovereign noble clans of the human race would definitely make a move. There was also Mr. Qin, whom Xiaochen had slapped in the merfolk race's dream castle. At that time, Xiaochen had not been confident of keeping Mr. Qin here, so he could only let him leave. Now that Mr. Qin knew of Xiaochen's whereabouts, he would definitely use the connections he had in the Medicine God Valley to hunt him down. Furthermore, there was the reward from the Xianshui sect's sect master, a king-grade secret treasure personally refined by Emperor Wu. The experts of the heavenly starry ocean might rush over. When Xiaochen thought about it carefully, he realized that he had many enemies. He put away the three immortal swords and the Big Dipper banner. Before Xiaochen could check the treasures in the three people's spatial rings, he stood on a lightning dragon and quickly flew into the distance. Just as Xiaochen exited the city gates, three people blocked his way. These three young men all had outstanding looks and noble auras. They exuded pride. Xiaochen recognized one of them. He was Yan Shisan's younger brother, Yan Shisi. Back then, when Xiaochen was ranked first on the Proud Son of Heaven ranking, he had fought with this person. If Xiaochen guessed correctly, the other two should be the scions of the Jiang clan and the Lin clan. My luck is really good. It looks like the Medicine God Valley's Mr. Qin did not lie. Brother Xiaochen, you are indeed here, Yan Shisi said with a relaxed expression, a smile on his face. The Medicine God Valley's Mr. Qin. Xiaochen felt somewhat suspicious. How did Mr. Qin know his whereabouts? The two people at the side sized up Xiaochen, feeling mildly astonished. They had not expected Xiaochen to only be a medial-grade martial sage. However, Xiaochen's cultivation was rather stable. His heavenly sage laws were much purer than ordinary people's. However, if that was all, it would be too difficult for him to gain such a horrifying reputation. Yan Shisi had exchanged moves with Xiaochen before and knew his limits. He warned, Brother Lin, Brother Jiang, don't be fooled by this person's cultivation. The cultivation technique this person cultivates is very special, making it very difficult for him to raise his cultivation. However, if you underestimate him because of this, you will die a horrible death. These three were all outstanding talents of the martial clan. Furthermore, they had the sovereign noble clan had sovereign martial Chen's IMS. They were noble. B. And sovereign Chen nobles and respectively. Dragon from the dragon was the sovereign. The Earth clan from the clan of Chen smiled. Bai and Chen, clans Chen's sect. And sects. Chen's the Earth Emperor clan's Ming sect Tian sect to Chen. The Jiang clan's scion beside Yan Shirsi smiled coldly and said, nothing much. We just want to borrow your head. There will not be a second Qing emperor in this world. The blue-robed scion of the Lin clan said, Shao Chen, the Bushin Palace delayed your king conferral ceremony. Clearly, they do not support you. The three holy masters probably wish for you to die at our hands so that the title of Blue Dragon King will not appear again. You will not be able to escape today. No matter how great your reputation is, it will all vanish. Yan Shirsi maintained his calm smile. From the day you announced that you were the descendant of the Qing emperor, you were destined to die. Dying at our hands is better than dying at the hands of those loose cultivators. The few of you are really righteous. Unfortunately, there are many people who want to take this Shao's head. Until now, no one has succeeded. Today, I will have to disappoint you. Shao Chen's gaze turned cold. Without saying anything more, his figure flashed, and a bright saber light shot out from his body. It shot out from Shao Chen's body like the moonlight, shining with an unparalleled sharpness as it charged straight at Yan Shirsi. Yan Shirsi did not show any fear. 9 suns appeared above his head and formed a circle. A surging heat wave spread out, turning the air scorching. The heavenly sage laws in Yan Shirsi's body circulated. His strong and deep cultivation made his aura seem even higher than Shao Chen's. When he saw the saber light approaching, he did not hesitate to throw a punch. The 9 suns above Yan Shirsi's head surged, and the heat wave of this punch surged, its might vast. Bang! A thunderous sound exploded in the air. The two each took 100 steps back, revealing expressions of shock on their faces. Shao Chen was shocked at the other party's incredibly deep cultivation. Even when he circulated his flawless saber Dao, he was only able to fight on equal footing. If Shao Chen were an ordinary superior-grade martial sage, he would have the absolute upper hand after this palm strike. However, Yan Shirsi was even more shocked than Shao Chen. He was already a middle-stage superior-grade martial sage, one cultivation grade higher than Shao Chen's. However, he had not managed to defeat his opponent. On the other hand, there was a knife-like purple energy in Yan Shirsi's arm, cutting his bones and flesh. The intense pain was unbearable. 2 figures flashed. It was the Lin clan scion and the Jiang clan scion, not giving Shao Chen a chance to catch his breath. They immediately charged over and executed their best martial techniques, stirring up the winds and clouds and causing the sky to change color. Shao Chen suppressed the blazing quintessence in his body. A bright moon rose behind him, and snowflakes drifted around him. Then, he quickly started exchanging moves with these two. Waves surged around the Lin clan scion. A river flowed under his feet. The Jiang clan scion was surrounded by flickering shadows. Thousands of afterimages appeared, materializing a strange mysterious phenomenon. Soon, Yan Shirsi swung his arm. Holding his sword and radiating the light of the 9 suns, he joined the battle. The peach blossoms bloomed, the summer rose, the autumn wind blew, and the winter snow drifted. Shao Chen materialized the flawless 4 seasons saber technique, dealing with the 3. However, of the 4 seasons, only the winter saber was complete. The other 3 seasons were slightly weaker. Fighting 1 against 3, Shao Chen was in a very passive position, surrounded by danger. This time, Shao Chen had truly met with strong opponents. His opponents were also outstanding talents of the present age. Furthermore, they had powerful clans with astonishing accumulations as their backing. They used even more spirit herbs and resources than he did. Fighting 1 against 3 without using immortal arts or magic skills, the pressure was rather high. Shao Chen, is that all you have? We have not even used our king-grade secret treasures. When the Lin clan scion saw that Shao Qin still had strength to spare despite fighting 1 against 3, he started mocking him, trying to force Shao Qin to take out his final trump card. Yan Shixi chopped apart the snowflakes filling the air with saber lights. He smiled and said, "Brother Shao Qin, if you have any trump cards, just take them out. Otherwise, you will not have any more chances to use them." Ha! He probably cannot take them out. The Qing emperor did not leave behind any treasures for this fellow. This time, the 3 were truly intent on killing Shao Qin. Even though they held the upper hand, they did not let down their guard. They even used words to anger Shao Qin, forcing him to reveal his trump card before killing him. Shao Qin smiled coldly to himself. However, his expression did not change. "You had best not force me to use my trump card. Otherwise, none of you will be able to escape. Your tone is really startlingly bold. This young master will see what trump cards you have today." Suddenly, a 3-legged cauldron appeared above the Lin clan scion. All sorts of ancient mutated beasts were carved on the cauldron. Berserk roars came from the cauldron. "This is a replica of my Lin clan's 10,000 beast cauldron. Today, I will show you the true accumulations of a sovereign noble clan." The Lin clan scion roared ferociously and formed hand seals. The 10,000 beast cauldron trembled, and the roars coming from the cauldron became even more berserk and restless. The atmosphere suddenly turned heavy as if something horrifying was about to descend. Boom! The image of a huge snake with 1,000 feathers and 1,000 wings leaped out of the cauldron. It was the ancient mutated beast, the 1,000-feathered snake. The image of a profound sun bird covered in flames cried out and flew out. Then, a pitch-black evil flood dragon leaped out. This was just the beginning. As the Lin clan scion formed hand seals, images of ancient mutated beasts of terrifying origins leaped out of the cauldron. A total of 100 appeared before stopping. The 100 beasts circled above the Lin clan scion's head, covering the sky and the sun. A horrifying aura spread out. All the spirit beasts within 500 kilometers felt this aura. That was the aura of ancient mutated beasts, all of them kings of beasts. The fear from their bloodlines caused these spirit beasts to flee frantically, triggering many beast tides. Shao Chen's expression changed slightly. The original 10,000 beast cauldron should be an emperor-grade secret treasure. The resources of this replica were all divine materials. It was a true peak king-grade secret treasure. The 3 immortal swords earlier could not compare to this at all. The accumulations of a sovereign noble clan were indeed immeasurable. This person only brought out 20% of his strength, and he could already cause such a commotion. This was truly horrifying. "Brother Yan, Brother Jiang, move aside. Watch as my 100 beasts come out and tear this fellow into pieces." "Trump card? I don't believe that you can take out any trump card." The Lin clan scion shouted, and the images of the 100 beasts flying above his head immediately charged at Shao Qin. The 1,000-feathered snake's wings were like sabers, the profound sun bird's claws burned with true flame, and the black flood dragon spat out pitch-black dragon flame. As the 100 beasts attacked, their might was unparalleled. The Lin clan scion wanted to use these 100 beasts to tear Shao Qin into pieces. When the 100 beasts attacked together, their might covered the sky. The images of ancient mutated beasts filled the area. Any one of them, the 1,000-feathered snake, the deep-sea black flood dragon, the heavenly phoenix, or the howling moon heavenly wolf, had frightening origins. When the Jiang clan scion and Yan Shixi saw this, they waited quietly to see how Shao Qin would deal with it. The 10,000 beast cauldron in the Lin clan scion's hand was not an ordinary king-grade secret treasure. Although he brought out only 10% of its strength, it was sufficient to force back a Grand Master-level martial sage. Before this, a superior-grade martial sage would be instantly killed. This was the Lin clan scion's life-saving means. At a crucial moment, it could save his life. Now that he used it to deal with Shao Qin, even if the Lin clan's scion had a trump card that he would not use, he would still suffer significant damage to his essence. When Xiaoqin saw the 100 beasts attacking, he prepared to execute the mysteries of the dragon subduing slash. However, he suddenly thought of something, and a medallion appeared in his palm. This was the Holy Beast Medallion, the merfolk race's treasure. Yao Yan had said that this medallion could suppress ancient mutated beasts. It could even store the real thousand-feathered snake into the medallion, allowing him to control it freely. Against these mutated beast images, the medallion should have some effect. The magic energy in Xiao Chen's Sea of Consciousness surged, and he immediately activated the Holy Beast Medallion. The simple and thick Holy Beast Medallion shot out a beam of golden light and covered the Black Flood Dragon. Xiao Chen felt his magic energy pour out like flowing water. A strong suction came from the Holy Beast Medallion in his right hand, pulling the Black Flood Dragon into it. Chapter 9:18. It's effective. Xiao Chen rejoiced in his heart. He burned his vast magic energy and pulled the ferocious Black Flood Dragon, spewing out dragon flames into the medallion. Whoosh! 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 Holding up the Holy Beast Medallion, Xiao Chen quickly burned his magic energy. Beams of light shot out and sucked all these mutated beast images into the medallion. Not satisfied yet, Xiao Chen steeled his heart and drained a third of the surging magic energy in his Sea of Consciousness. His body gave off a crystalline light, making him look like an otherworldly immortal. After draining a third of his magic energy, the Holy Beast Medallion gave off a bright light and shot out a large beam of light, encasing the remaining mutated beast images. Then, with a gentle tug, he sucked them all into the medallion. My ancient 100 beasts! The heir of the Lin family was completely stunned. Every phantom of a strange beast was refined by the elders of the Lin family for a long time before they could be produced. His 10,000 beast cauldron only had 1,000 mutated beast images. Now that he lost 100, his heart bled. Xiao Chen held the Holy Beast Medallion and smiled. Brother Jiang, many thanks for your Holy Beast images. What other abilities do you have? Just bring them out. You are seeking death. I'll fight it out with you. I don't believe that you have much law energy left to activate this secret treasure. The Lin clan scion swallowed a medicinal pill, and the law energy in his body instantly filled up. His strength returned to its peak. He roared ferociously, and another 100 beasts flew out of the cauldron. The accumulations of a sovereign noble clan were truly startling. They could even take out a peak sage-grade medicinal pill that could instantly replenish law energy. Xiao Chen did not fear this. The other party would not have a second such precious sage-grade medicinal pill. Xiao Chen drained another third of his magic energy. A light swept out, and the new 100 beasts were sucked back into the medallion. Pu Ci. When the Lin clan scion saw this scene, he was so frustrated that he vomited a mouthful of blood. 200 mutated beast images were gone. In the future, when he advanced to Grandmaster level Martial Sage, this 10,000 beast cauldron would lose 20% of its might. Brother Lin, let me help you. 100 Transformation Tortoise Spirit Shield. The Jiang clan scion stretched out his hand, and 9,999 tortoise shells filled with the scars of time appeared. They flew out from his palms and formed a sharp tower shield. Between the gaps, black light shone brightly. The shield's momentum was astonishing. It was as if a mountain was pressing down on them. The entire space was squeezed by it, forming wrinkles in the space. Even space itself was moving. There was nowhere to hide and nowhere to defend. The space in front of Xiao Chen rippled. With a bang, he was knocked back a kilometer, vomiting blood. After succeeding in one move, the Jiang clan scion laughed loudly. Xiao Chen, this merfolk race's Holy Beast Medallion should be your trump card, right? However, it can suppress the 10,000 beast cauldron but not my tortoise spirit shield. This is an immortal's magic treasure that my Jiang clan's ancestor obtained from an immortal sect remnant. He added 80 precious divine materials and refined it into a king-grade secret treasure. Let's see how you are going to be so arrogant now. After successfully launching a sneak attack and injuring Xiao Chen in one move, the Jiang clan's scion felt extremely cocky. He raised the tortoise spirit shield with both hands and descended from the sky, pressing down on Xiao Chen. Space continuously squeezed. Everywhere it passed, the trees and buildings on the ground became like reflections in water, turning hazy and blurry. Then, with a loud bang, they turned into powder. Die! The Jiang clan scion pushed with his hand, and the tortoise spirit shield encased space as it descended on Xiao Chen. Space rippled like water. Xiao Chen felt his body sway, and his bones crackled. Before the shield landed, this tortoise spirit shield nearly took his life. The Lin clan scion, who had the 10,000 beast cauldron hovering above his head, smiled sinisterly. Brother Jiang, good move. Crush this brat to death and wipe out the Qing Emperor's bloodline. Then, our sovereign noble clans will no longer have to live in fear. Without hesitation, Xiao Chen executed the strongest move of the flawless saber Dao, the martial technique that merged the 13 moves of the dragon subduing slash into one. Flawless. Flawless. Flawless, flawless, 18 azure dragons, perfect and flawless, appearing down to the finest detail. Holy might pervaded the air as they roared in unison, shaking the 9 heavens. The holy might stirred up and formed a formless barrier of light that pushed back the surrounding ripples. Space exploded. The clash between the two nearly tore space apart. Flawless blue dragon, subduing dragon profound slash. With the 18 blue dragons as a foil, Xiao Chen looked like an ancient overlord. He shouted, and the blue dragons turned into purple saber lights that struck the tortoise spirit shield. Bang! 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 Intense tremors resounded. Cracks appeared in the sturdy tortoise spirit shield before the saber lights that could flip rivers and seas. Finally, it shattered and turned into 9,999 tortoise shells flying in all directions. Unexpectedly, Xiao Chen used his own strength to break this king-grade secret treasure. The Jiang clan scion vomited a mouthful of blood, somewhat in disbelief. He gathered the scattered tortoise shells and used them as a shield. Damn it! If not for the fact that I can only bring out 20% of this tortoise spirit shield strength, I would have crushed you into a meat patty. The reassembled tortoise spirit shield dimmed. It could no longer be used to attack for a while, it could only barely protect itself. Xiao Chen, you truly live up to being a descendant of the Qing Emperor. Back then, you fought for the top spot of the proud son of heaven ranking and established such a great reputation. It looks like this is not a coincidence. However, as I said before, you will definitely die today. When Xiao Chen executed the subduing dragon profound slash and became rather weak, Yan Shixi, who had been waiting patiently, took advantage of the opportunity to take out his king-grade secret treasure. Yan Shixi's king-grade secret treasure was a large umbrella covered in inattributed flames. It was called the Profound Yin Umbrella. The handle and leaves of the umbrella were made of at least 10 divine materials equal to black patterned gold and dark mountain profound copper. The flame in the umbrella was the Profound Yin True Flame, a fusion of 18 types of Yin-attributed flames. It was much stronger than the Netherworld True Flame that Xiao Chen once obtained. The flaming umbrella opened up and suddenly enlarged, directly encasing Xiao Chen, who had just executed his martial technique. Yan Shixi moved his hands, and the umbrella shrank, locking down the surrounding space. The Profound Yin True Flame in the umbrella also grew denser. Brother Yan, your timing is really good. After this brat is sucked into the Profound Yin umbrella, no matter how unparalleled his movement technique is, he will not be able to escape. He will be burned to ashes. Yan Shixi smiled coldly and said, burned to ashes? How can there be such a good thing? His physical body is as hard as a secret treasure. Furthermore, he has the bloodline of the Qing Emperor. I want to use this Profound Yin True Flame to refine him into a blue dragon bone sword, completing my supreme throne. Excellent. This is a good method. With this powerful bone sword, Brother Yan will definitely be able to surpass your elder brother and become the future clan head of the Yan clan. At that time, you will be able to use all the resources of the sovereign noble clans as you please. Hee hee. We are here on orders from the clan to kill Xiao Chen. If we succeed, we will not even need to make a move for the older generation experts of the clan. This will save us a lot of trouble. The clan head will definitely look at us in a new light. Sovereign noble clans had many descendants. Although these people were heirs, the competition among the younger generation was intense, and their positions were not truly stable. Now that Xiao Chen was about to be killed, this would be a great contribution. Their prestige in the clan would definitely soar, and their positions would be much more stable. Everyone smiled happily. Oh no! Why does my profound true flame seem to be decreasing bit by bit? Yan Shirsi, who was chatting contentedly with the two, focused his attention on the profound umbrella. Then, he suddenly discovered that the profound true flame in the umbrella was decreasing bit by bit. At first, it was just a trickle. Eventually, it became like a flood, pouring out for 500 kilometers. All the profound true flame poured into Xiao Chen's left eye and was swallowed up by his lunar true flame. How unfortunate. I am still lacking a little. Otherwise, my lunar true flame would be able to reach the same level as the purple thunder true fire and condense an even higher Taiji yin-yang diagram. Inside the umbrella, Xiao Chen's lips twitched. Even after swallowing the profound true flame, he was still not satisfied. Right after Xiao Chen spoke, an astral banner appeared in his hand. He gathered his killing chi on the pole. Then, he raised the Big Dipper banner and pointed it at the sky. Brilliant 7 stars, shattering mountains and rivers. A strand of starlight containing a boundless killing intent shot out from the tip of the banner. Boom! A hole immediately appeared in the umbrella that lost the profound true flame. The sealed space collapsed. After Xiao Chen broke free, he held the Big Dipper banner in his hand. The banner fluttered, and the 7 stars formed a constellation, radiating bright starlight. The starlight contained boundless energy. The instant the banner unfurled, it knocked the 3 back. My 3 brothers have been tirelessly waiting to see this Xiao's trump card. If this Xiao does not show it now, it would be unjustifiable. I hope you will not be disappointed. Xiao Chen smiled faintly and stabbed the Big Dipper banner into the ground. 7 astral pearls leaped out and filled the sky with starlight, encasing the surrounding 5 kilometers. What? Unexpectedly, he still has a trump card. After breaking the king grade secret treasures of 3 people, Xiao Chen actually still has a trump card. How strong is that trump card? Yan Shirsi and the other 2 were startled. Without saying anything, they used their king grade secret treasures to block the starlight and quickly left this place. Starry Heaven Storm. Xiao Chen materialized the chessboard of fate and shifted the position of the stars. He quickly executed this minor magic skill, and a black storm swept out. In the blink of an eye, it caught up to the 3 people who had used their secret treasures to move 5 kilometers away. Bang! The 3 vomited a mouthful of blood, and their internal organs ruptured. If they did not have king grade secret treasures to protect themselves, they would have turned to ashes on the spot. The 10,000 beast cauldron, tortoise spirit shield, and profound umbrella were all knocked back. The 3 turned around, wanting to retrieve their king grade secret treasures. The bright moon hung high in the sky. Xiao Chen smiled coldly and said, "How naive. After seeing my trump card, you still think you can escape unscathed? Leave all 3 king grade secret treasures behind." Flawless bright moon. Xiao Chen stretched out his hand, and a bright saber chi descended, forcing back the 3 people who wanted to snatch back their king grade secret treasures. After that, the 7 stars fell and bombarded the 3 of them repeatedly, forcing them into a sorry state. They had no time to pay attention to the 3 secret treasures. Xiao Chen leaped up and put the 3 king grade secret treasures into his spatial ring. As the 7 stars fell, the earth trembled and the sky shook. Loud rumbles resounded for 100 miles. The martial artists in the small city behind them could all hear the terrifying explosion. The entire city was shaking. Shock waves surged into the sky, and dust swept out in all directions. The cultivators in the city felt confused. Who was stirring up the winds and clouds, causing the sky to change color? The cultivators rushed out and looked into the distance. They only saw an ethereal white figure amid the starlight. Chapter 9:19. After the Qing Emperor, the white-robed Shao Chen would soon be conferred the title of Blue Dragon King. As Yan Shixi and the other two fled, they occasionally coughed out scarlet qi and blood. The three showed sullen expressions. King-grade secret treasures, 3 King-grade secret treasures that would become their life secret treasures after they advanced to Martial Emperor, had all changed hands. However, this was not the only disappointment in their hearts. Shao Chen's final magic skill materialized the chessboard of fate, drawing out the entire universe and creating a starry river storm. Just thinking about that horrifying scene made them tremble in fear. Unless a Grandmaster-level martial sage appeared, no one would be able to subdue Shao Chen. That is not a martial technique. I did not feel any fluctuations of heavenly sage laws at all. It is definitely not a martial technique. It is an immortal art. An immortal cultivator once came to my clan as a guest. The immortal art that person executed was very similar to the one Shao Chen executed. What Shao Chen executed might not be an ordinary immortal art. It might have already reached the level of a magic skill. Martial and immortal dual cultivation. Martial and immortal dual cultivation. Unexpectedly, this is his greatest trump card. How hateful. We lost the king-grade secret treasures. We will definitely lose our position as scions. The three showed dispirited expressions. When they thought of the consequences, they wished that they could skin Shao Chen alive. Yan Shixi said coldly, "We absolutely cannot leak the news of losing the secret treasures. Let's send a message to our trusted seniors and get them to rush to the primal chaos domain to help us snatch back the secret treasures. This is too horrifying." Trump card after trump card. Aside from Di Wuk, there are also the bloodline geniuses of the ancient races. Only the older generation cultivators can suppress him. It is settled, then. Let's find a place to recuperate first. Shao Chen did not chase after the three fleeing people. He waved the banner, and the 7 astral pearls returned to the banner before returning to his body. I'm afraid I have to expose my trump card, Immortal Dual Cultivation. I wonder what kind of trouble this will cause. Putting on the Heavenly Sea cloak, Shao Chen quickly left this place. Originally, Shao Chen did not intend to expose his trump card, the Immortal Art. However, these three possessed peak king-grade secret treasures. Although Shao Chen had failed in the treasure fight, without using immortal arts, it would be impossible for him to severely injure the three within a short time. He would also not have a chance to obtain these 3 king-grade secret treasures. In any case, he would be exposed sooner or later. It was worth it to obtain 3 peak king-grade secret treasures. The reason why Shao Chen did not chase after the 3 was that Yan Shixi's words made him suspect that Mr. Qin was the one who leaked his movements. Shao Chen searched the spatial ring of the heaven and earth sex elder by. There were many black astral coins, divine materials, and spirit pills. However, he did not see the heavenly secret divination disc. Shao Chen activated the cloak of deception skill and moved as fast as lightning. In his mind, he deduced the ins and outs of the matter from the clues. First, the heavenly secret divination plate should have been handed to Mr. Qin by the heaven and earth sex elder by. However, Mr. Qin did not make a move even after a long time. He only leaked his whereabouts. This guy was old and shrewd, and he had fought with him before. Mr. Qin did not make a move. Firstly, he wanted to find someone to test Shao Chen's strength. Secondly, he wanted to contact more experts to kill Shao Chen. When Shao Chen thought about his enemies, he realized that the trouble was just beginning. However, there was an invisible hand behind all this. If not for the 3 holy masters suddenly delaying Shao Chen's king conferral by half a year, sending out a clear signal, these people would not have dared to act so brazenly. Even if these people wanted to make a move, they would not have dared to be as brazen as they were now. The White Emperor City, the Vermilion Bird Palace, and the profound Martial Gate, the three holy lords, what a good plan. You do not want me, Shao Chen, to be conferred king. However, I want to live well. Half a year later, I will definitely appear at the king conferral ceremony. Shao Chen showed a determined expression as he made a vow in his heart. These people will be my test before I am conferred king. If I cannot even pass this test, then the title of Blue Dragon King is not worthy of me. Shao Chen flew all the way to the west. When it was close to dusk, he casually landed on a mountain summit. Shao Chen took off his cloak and continuously drove this secret treasure. No matter how strong his law energy was, it would not be able to sustain it. Shao Chen stretched out his saber, and a purple electric energy chopped off the mountain summit, revealing a smooth and tidy platform. Shao Chen used his finger as a saber. Before the mountain summit fell off, he renovated it into a simple and crude stone house. Then, he moved it to the platform. Then, he made some stone benches and tables and made a simple courtyard on the platform. Night had already fallen, and the stars bloomed. This was the time when the starlight was the brightest. Shao Chen waved his hand, and the Big Dipper banner soared into the air, fluttering in the wind. The 7 stars, Dubhe, Merak, Megrez, Alioth, Mizar, and Alkaid, formed a brilliant constellation in the middle of the banner. The 7 stars attracted each other, and their light flowed as they greedily absorbed the starlight. When the 7 beams of starlight descended, they formed a beautiful pillar of starlight that stretched the distance between heaven and earth. The scattered starlight drifted in the surroundings. This rather ordinary mountain summit among the rolling mountains immediately became boundlessly charming. It flickered with spiritual light, and everyone within 50 kilometers noticed it. Shao Chen was not afraid of being high-profile. As long as the heavenly mystery chi on him remained, his movements could not be kept a secret. The only thing he could do now was to make use of this opportunity to increase his strength and blast the enemies who came to attack him into pieces. Sitting down cross-legged, Shao Chen circulated the Purple Thunder Divine Incantation. Lightning flickered, and the 7th layer of the Purple Thunder Divine Incantation frantically absorbed the surrounding spiritual energy. At the same time, it turned into heavenly sage laws and mental energy in his sea of consciousness. Not enough, far from enough. The speed at which the Purple Thunder Divine Incantation absorbed spiritual energy far surpassed that of other cultivation techniques. Shao Chen's body urgently needed spiritual energy to replenish his cultivation. However, the quality of the surrounding spiritual energy was too poor. Using the Purple Thunder Divine Incantation's 7th layer to absorb this spiritual energy was like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. There was always a lingering sense of hunger. After 1 hour, Shao Chen replenished his exhausted magic energy and heavenly victory laws, so he stopped circulating the Purple Thunder Divine Incantation. Cultivating in this place was like trying to put out a burning cart of firewood with a cup of water. Shao Chen did not want to waste this time. If only I had a peak spirit vein, no, a holy spirit vein, here. My cultivation would definitely advance by leaps and bounds. Only such a spirit vein is worthy of the Purple Thunder Divine Incantation. Unfortunately, there were no ifs. Shao Chen did not overthink it. With a thought, the 10,000 Beast Cauldron, Tortoise Spirit Shield, Profound Een Umbrella, and the 3 Immortal Swords all appeared before him. Shao Chen thought for a while before summoning out the Holy Beast Medallion. He sent in his spiritual sense and took a look at the situation inside. He saw that the mutated beast image inside was more solid than before. It even had a vague spirituality to it. The deep-sea black flood dragon could even yawn as it swam. Could it be that this Holy Beast Medallion has the ability to nurture mutated beasts? In just half a day, these mutated beast images are clearly stronger. Shao Chen rejoiced in his heart. If that was really the case, then this 10,000 Beast Cauldron and the Holy Beast Medallion were a perfect pair. Shao Chen reached out and scooped up the 10,000 Beast Cauldron. Shao Chen had already erased the Lin clan scion's spiritual mark in the cauldron and replaced it with his own. Shao Chen grasped the cauldron's legs and connected his consciousness with it. Then, He tried to drive it. The law energy in his body immediately drained at a visible rate. Mutated beast images leaped out. When 100 of them leaped out, the mutated beast images covered the entire summit. Xiaoqin discovered that almost all the law energy in his body had been drained. He could not help but be flabbergasted. This Peak King grade secret treasure's consumption is really frightening when it is driven. Actually, aside from this, it was mostly because Xiaoqin did not cultivate the 10,000 beast art. When he drove it, he drained even more law energy than the Lin clan scion. If he grasped the 10,000 beast art, given the density of his heavenly sage laws, he would only need 1/3 of the law energy to drive 100 mutated beast images. The holy beast medallion flickered with light and sucked in the 100 mutated beast images. Then, Xiaoqin sat down to recover his law energy. Then, he continued to drive the 10,000 beast cauldron. After repeating this 8 times, Xiaoqin placed all 1,000 mutated beast images into the holy beast medallion to nourish them. A light flashed in Xiaoqin's eyes, clearly excited. Just half a day, and the results were already so obvious. If he nourished them for 10 days to half a month, how strong would they become? That would definitely shock the Lin clan cultivators. As for the remaining 3 king grade secret treasures, after some thought, Xiaoqin decided to keep only the 100 tortoise spirit shield and melt the other 2. Needless to say, the 3 immortal swords did not contain any divine materials. They were just ordinary king grade secret treasures, relying entirely on the might of the 3 immortal swords. It would not be a pity to melt them. The Profoundine umbrella was made entirely of divine materials. Furthermore, there were 81 of them. However, without the Profoundine flame and with a large hole in it, Xiaoqin could not be bothered to repair it, so he melted them all down. Xiaoqin raised his head and looked at the sky. The Big Dipper banner above him was boundlessly resplendent, shining with starlight. Xiaoqin had a plan in his heart. He wanted to use the resources from the 2 king grade secret treasures, the resources from the Heaven and Earth sect's 3 elders, and his 3 thrones to reconstruct the Big Dipper banner. This Big Dipper banner underwent a complete transformation, turning it into something he could rely on to move unhindered in the future. After making up his mind, Xiaoqin carefully put away the Profoundine umbrella and tossed it into the Dragon Phoenix cauldron. Then, he started to use the lunar true flame to smelt it. The sovereign noble clans did not lack resources. The Profoundine umbrella that Xiaoqin forged for Yan Shirsi was made of 81 divine materials, each no less than 500 kilograms. The Profoundine umbrella looked very light. If one was not its master, it would be impossible for an ordinary person to pick it up. The formations of Peak King grade secret treasures were extremely stable. Xiaoqin did not have the lunar true flame. He had just swallowed a large amount of Profoundine true flame, so it would be difficult for him to melt it. Good. The first divine material is separated. Let me see what it is. The Profoundine umbrella had already been melted into a pitch-black lump. A metallic lump flickering with an azure light separated from it. Xiaoqin said joyfully, Dark Mountain Profound Copper. Based on this weight, it should be 250 kilograms. After the second smelting, Xiaoqin was satisfied with half of the 500 kilograms of Dark Mountain Profound Copper remaining. Soon, the 81 lumps of different divine materials separated from the Dragon Phoenix cauldron and floated in the lunar true flame. Each divine material was no less than 250 kilograms. With so many divine materials, one could exchange them for 2 or 3 ordinary king grade secret treasures at an auction. The accumulations of the sovereign noble clans were truly flabbergasting. Chapter 920. After the pleasant surprise of the Profoundine umbrella, the materials refined from the 3 immortal swords seemed somewhat shabby in comparison. However, it was better than nothing. Xiaoqin stretched out his hand and grabbed the Big Dipper banner in the sky. Starlight shone on Xiaoqin's face, making him look like a star venerate in the night sky. Xiaoqin weighed the flagpole. There were no divine materials in it, only 1,000-year-old mysterious iron and a few other rare metals. The scarlet banner with the 7 astral pearls on it fluttered in the wind. Although it used many materials, it did not contain any divine materials. The clan behind Yi Qing was probably not a major faction. The resources they gave Xiao Chen were only enough to refine the astral pearls. They did not care much about the flagpole or the banner. However, the might of the Big Dipper banner lay in the 7 astral pearls. Only an extremely wealthy person would spend the effort to refine the flagpole and banner. Xiao Chen had other plans. He needed divine materials infused into the flagpole and banner as well. There were 81 divine materials, each weighing 250 kilograms. Xiao Chen planned to use half of them on the flagpole and banner. The remaining half would be used on the astral pearls. That way, the quality of the entire Big Dipper banner would increase several-fold. Xiao Chen had long since memorized the refinement method. He showed a cautious expression, not daring to get distracted. He was extremely focused on the summit. The instant the sun rose, the brand new Big Dipper banner was finally refined. The black flagpole gave off a dense glow. It no longer looked as light as before. With just one look, one could tell that it looked solid. Xiao Chen held it in his hand and waved it around. A dull, heavy sound immediately rang out at the summit. The humming sound spread for 50 kilometers around, shaking the trees and startling the birds and beasts. Flap! 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 The dense forest at the foot of the mountain was filled with the sound of birds and beasts flapping their wings, looking very majestic. A satisfied expression appeared on Xiao Chen's face. Just a casual wave of the flagpole could cause such a commotion. The 81 divine materials had not been added for nothing. With a turn of his right hand, a red aura spread out, bright and glistening. The color of the flag was much deeper than before, fluttering in the wind at the top of the mountain. 7 stars were imprinted in the middle of the flag. The bright starlight overshadowed the rising sun. The accumulations of a sovereign noble clan are indeed astonishing. Just one profound umbrella allowed my Big Dipper banner to increase by more than 2 grades. Xiao Chen's heart was filled with joy, and a thought occurred to him. If I have a few more Peak King grade secret treasures, my Big Dipper banner might be able to reach the peak of quality, comparable to the Big Dipper banner that the Cyclic Astral Lord has. However, this was just a thought. With this lesson, the people of the 3 sovereign noble clans would not be able to defeat them. Without reaching the strength of a Grandmaster-level martial sage, these noble clan disciples would definitely not come alone. If they came, they would definitely invite older generation experts. How unfortunate. I lost such an opportunity for nothing. However, if I succeed in the next step, my Big Dipper banner will definitely blaze a new path, surpassing the seniors of the Cyclic Astral Palace and reaching another peak. Xiao Chen's expression turned grave. The magic energy in his sea of consciousness burned, turning into a mental energy flame and starting to melt the massacre throne. According to the jade strip that Long Fei gave Xiao Chen, if he wanted to refine the throne into a weapon, he needed to circulate a secret technique and temper it with the mental energy flame. Long Fei had trained for a month before he managed to refine the destruction throne into a trident. Xiao Chen's mental energy turned into an even stronger magic energy, more than 10 times stronger than Long Fei's, comparable to the blue-robed emperor's. The refinement went smoothly. In less than half a day, he had already melted the throne. However, he did not refine it into a weapon. Xiao Chen shouted coldly and sent the melted massacre throne into the Big Dipper banner's Dubhe star, merging it with the Big Dipper banner's first astral pearl. After repeating this process 3 times, Xiao Chen merged the Death Throne and the Destruction Trident into the Merak and Fekta astral pearls. After letting out a long breath, Xiao Chen stared at the banner. The surface of the Dubhe, Merak, and Fekta astral pearls changed colors. Massacre, death, and ruin chi intertwined. However, they did not merge perfectly and still needed to be adjusted. Xiao Chen sent out the Big Dipper banner, and it soared into the clouds. As the banner fluttered, it absorbed the drifting starlight in the sky. The starlight shrank and turned into an astral cocoon surrounding the banner. When sufficient astral energy was gathered, the 3 thrones and the Dubhe stars would merge perfectly. Then, they would break out of the cocoon and undergo a complete transformation. Xiao thought for a while. Then, he rummaged around in the universe ring for a while and took out all the astral cores of the 3 heaven and earth sect inner sect elders, refining them into 7 inferior grade astral pearls. Then, he set up a small constellation around the astral cocoon, increasing the speed at which it absorbed astral energy. Now that he was done, there was nothing left for Xiao to do. All he had to do was wait for the Big Dipper banner to break out of the cocoon. Xiao revealed an expression of anticipation. Since ancient times, no one had done this before. Furthermore, no one had the conditions to do so. He wondered what the brand new Big Dipper banner would look like. Would it be able to accompany Xiao in dancing through the winds and clouds, carving out a bloody path to kingship amid the many strong enemies? It was clearly noon, and the sun was high up in the sky. However, the summit of Xiao mountain was filled with starlight. Stars appeared, decorating this ordinary summit like an astral palace. Xiao remained calm as he sat on the stone bench. Then, he took out the blue dragon body nourishing art and started reading it. Xiao physical body had reached peak rank 3 sage body. However, his vital qi remained stuck at half a dragon force, 2,500 tons of force, unable to improve. The blue dragon body nourishing art was undoubtedly a timely help to him. After roughly reading a few pages, Xiao expression turned grave. Sha! Sha! As he flipped through the pages, Xiao frowned. His lips twitched involuntarily. When Xiao finished reading, he smiled bitterly and tossed the blue dragon body nourishing art onto the stone table. It was not that this blue dragon body nourishing art was not strong. After successfully cultivating the first layer, one could burst out with 5,000 tons of force with 1 dragon force. Rather, the method of cultivating the blue dragon body nourishing art was simply incredible, flabbergasting. Nourishing the body. The word nourishing was very appropriate. Cultivating this blue dragon body nourishing art required consuming large amounts of divine materials to nourish the body and nurture dragon energy. The number of divine materials required was extremely vast. Just the first layer required close to 5,000 tons of divine materials. The divine materials required to condense the dragon armor body for the second layer were even more astronomical. Aside from the Dragon's Gate, which swept through the place back then, no one else could provide so many resources for such a cultivation technique. Xiao felt that no one in the current sect could provide so many divine materials. After putting away the blue dragon body nourishing art, he temporarily gave up on cultivating this cultivation technique. Then, Xiao took out a heavenly soul pearl and started to absorb its energy to strengthen his magic energy. The words of the 2 from the One Dao Palace were indeed true. The heavenly soul pearl of this evil demon was a great supplement to cultivators. In the past 10 days, Xiao had consumed 20 heavenly soul pearls. The sea of magic energy in his sea of consciousness had doubled in size, occupying most of his sea of consciousness. Now, when Xiao used the 10,000 beast cauldron, he could easily control 100 mutated beast images. On this particular day, just as Xiao prepared to consume the jade-white evil demon's heavenly soul pearl, a large group of figures flew out of the forest at the foot of the mountain. Killing qi soared into the sky and gathered together. Even Xiao, who was at the summit, felt a strong wind blowing, ruffling the hair on his forehead. Xiao put down the jade-white heavenly soul pearl. Then, he stood up and looked at the astral cocoon above him. What should have come has finally come. If only it had come a little later. The Big Dipper banner would have broken out of the cocoon. Xiao, you are really in a good mood. Right now, the entire primal chaos domain knows that you have a peak immortal spirit ring and a rank 9 spirit tree. The people who want to kill you can line up from the foot of this mountain to the summit. Yet, you are still thinking about refining a secret treasure. Many people flew up from the forest. In the blink of an eye, 3 people arrived at the summit and met Xiao gaze. Xiao squinted and discovered that these 3 people were not very old. They were all early-stage superior grade martial sages. The one in the middle was particularly powerful. He was already a peak superior grade martial sage, only lacking the air of a grandmaster before he could advance to grandmaster level martial sage. These three people wore clothes similar to Lang Taotian's. They should be disciples of the Xianshui sect. Xiao Qin had heard that the sect master of the Xianshui sect had a few final disciples. He wondered if the person who spoke was one of them. That's not right. This is a secret treasure of the Zodiac Hall. It actually condensed into an astral cocoon. Ha ha ha. I was right to come this time. I can kill you and snatch this secret treasure. Then, I can use your head to ask Master for a king-grade secret treasure. The expression of the youth in the middle changed slightly as he laughed maniacally. Ji Zong, it is not your turn to collect the secret treasure of this astral palace. Do you think that there is no one else in our primal chaos domain? A strong wind blew, and a beam of light flew over. Then, a youth in azure robes appeared. His entire body radiated a bloody sword chi. Whoosh! 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 More and more people gathered. Soon, hundreds of people surrounded the summit filled with starlight. These people were all experts of the primal chaos domain, loose cultivators, or elite disciples of large sections. Xiao Qin did not say anything. He only looked coldly at these people. Then, he looked back and saw three old men with extremely strong auras hiding in a cloud several dozen kilometers away. Mr. Qin. Xiao Qin narrowed his eyes. The person in the middle was the Medicine God Valley's Grandmaster-level alchemist, Mr. Qin. At this moment, he was smiling coldly as he looked at the summit. Of the two people beside Mr. Qin, one was a middle-aged man, and the other was an old man in hempen robes. Both of them had the air of grandmasters that surpassed ordinary people. These were grandmaster-level martial sages who had surpassed the threshold of superior-grade martial sage and had a unique understanding of the martial Tao. They were grandmaster-level martial sages who had already touched the top of the pyramid. They were only one step away from the word emperor and becoming influential people like the blue-robed emperor. A grandmaster-level alchemist indeed had great connections. He could even invite grandmaster-level martial sages, two of them at once. Mr. Qin really put in a lot of effort and hated Xiao Qin to the bone. Aside from the youth called Ji Zong, Xiao Qin did not care about the others. No matter how many of them came, he would not care. What Xiao Qin cared about was Mr. Qin and the two grandmaster-level martial sages beside him, who were several dozen kilometers away. Normally, he could just leave. Chapter 921. However, the Big Dipper banner happened to be at a crucial moment. Xiao Qin could not leave unless he gave up on this secret treasure that he had spent so much effort on. After putting in so much effort and holding so much hope, how could he give it up just like that? The various experts before him all treated him like a dead man, arguing about who would get their secret treasures and immortal spirit rings after they died. Xiao Qin found this funny. He said calmly, "Speaking of which, are you all done arguing? Are you all going to attack together or one by one?" White-robed King Xiao Qin, you are rather graceful. Even in such a situation, you can still remain calm. There are rumors everywhere that your strength is already equal to that of Diwuk, son of the three holy masters and those peak geniuses of the ancient races. I, Yi Su of the heavenly music sect, do not believe that. A scholarly youth stepped forward and walked out of the crowd, a boundless fighting spirit blazing in his eyes. The heavenly music sect, the muddy sky gate, and the frost moon palace were the three peak sects of the primal chaos domain. They dominated their regions, and their disciples were very proud in the primal chaos domain. Clearly, this Yi Su was not convinced of Xiao Qin's fame. An ancient-looking 36-string zither appeared in Yi Su's hand. When the cool breeze blew, it gave off a tinkling sound like that of flowing water. It was clear and melodious, intoxicating everyone. Xiao Qin revealed an interested expression as he took a step forward. Based on the name of the heavenly music sect, he could guess that it was a sect that specialized in using sound to kill. Yi Su held the zither with both hands. Together with his scholarly air, he looked like an elegant young master of the secular world. White-robed King Xiao Qin, Today, I will use you to establish my, Yi Su's, reputation and obtain an invitation to the Heroes' Convention. Ding! Ding! Dong! Dong! Yi Su played the zither with one hand, plucking the strings. The clear, flowing sound suddenly changed into a demonic sound that could kill. Many weapons leaped out of the zither like a storm, tearing through the air and charging at Xiao Chen. The zither music reverberated endlessly. It was just a simple test, but Yi Su already displayed such might. The cultivators who originally looked down on him immediately looked at him in a different light. Yu Qin is the most famous person in the Heavenly Chord sect. I heard that he has long received an invitation from Di Wuk. I didn't expect that Yi Su, who is not famous, has some ability. With him dealing with Xiao Chen, he should be able to probe Xiao Chen's true strength. Seeing that someone was trying to probe Xiao Chen's strength, the others were happy to do so and began to comment on it as if they were pointing out the state of affairs. A few cracking sounds rang out in the air. It was Xiao Chen using his finger as a saber. His fingertip flickered with light as he gently tapped the incoming weapons, shattering them one by one. Winding River 9 revolutions. Yi Su's expression changed slightly. He had not expected Xiao Chen to break it so easily. The tune changed, and the surging zither music soared again, surging like a river. With the sound of rushing water, Yi Su materialized a surging river, which flowed down from the 36-string zither. It was like Yi Su stood at the peak of a tall mountain. With a casual wave, he made the river descend, giving off a tyrannical aura that suppressed the world. However, while Yi Su was tyrannical, Xiao Chen was even more tyrannical. A bright light flickered on Xiao Chen's body, and the sound of a treasure saber being unsheathed rang out. Ka Xie! Ka Xie! 7 strings of the zither in Yi Su's hand broke, and the zither music stopped. Yi Su's heart sank. What a strong saber intent! It is about to condense into a saber soul. A saber light flew over and instantly chopped the surging river in half. You dare to test me with just this bit of ability? I will defeat you in one move. The saber wind arrived extremely fast. Yi Su could not care less. He raised his zither to block. Ka! 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 The remaining zither strings all broke under this saber strike. However, he still managed to block this sharp saber strike. Yi Su felt confident. He smiled coldly and said, although you are strong, you are dreaming if you want to defeat me in one move. Ka Xie. Right after Yi Su spoke, a bright moon rose behind Xiao Chen. The zither in his hand directly broke, and a flawless saber light shot out from Xiao Chen's hand. Before Yi Su could cry out, the saber chopped him in half, and blood sprayed into the air. Under the moonlight, Xiao Chen's white robes fluttered in the wind, looking cold and proud. He swept his gaze over the shocked crowd and said, just a motley crew. No matter how many of you come, it is useless. Attack together. How arrogant! How arrogant! After being looked down on by Xiao Chen, these people could not help but feel enraged. They turned into beams of flowing light and charged at Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen smiled faintly. His long hair and clothes fluttered. He used his body as a saber, bringing out an unparalleled saber edge as he charged into the crowd without fear. His entire body was covered in sabers, and the 4 seasons flowed around him. Xiao Chen materialized the flawless saber Dao. Aside from immortal arts and magic skills, he did not hold anything back as he started a massacre in the crowd. Xiao Chen's white robes were dyed with blood, looking like a demonic god bathed in blood. Miserable cries rang out. These people discovered that Xiao Chen's strength was completely different from what Mr. Qin had said. They had completely misjudged the situation. Jizong led the 3 disciples of the Xianshui sect to try and delay Xiao Chen several times. However, Xiao Chen managed to shake them off, not bothering with him at all. Xiao Chen's figure flashed, and blood splattered everywhere. Soon, the peak filled with starlight became much quieter. Aside from a few who fled, only Ji Zong and the 3 disciples of the Xianshui sect remained. Ji Zong felt a chill in his heart. Probably only his first senior brother could defeat this Xiao Chen before him. Bang! Just at this moment, a dazzling meteor-like light flew over and clashed with Xiao Chen. An earth-shattering sound spread out in all directions. Xiao Chen vomited a mouthful of blood as he was blasted back to the peak. When his feet landed, cracks spread out on the summit. The entire mountain looked like it would crumble. The middle-aged man beside Mr. Qin, who had been waiting patiently, made a move. With his Grandmaster-level martial sage cultivation, he knocked back Xiao Chen the moment he made a move. Then, another huge hand flew over and grabbed the astral cocoon in the sky. The other Grandmaster-level martial sage, the hemp-robed old man, made a move as well. Mr. Qin laughed loudly as he walked over. He looked at Xiao Chen, who was on the summit, and said, "Xiao Chen, did you enjoy killing earlier? These fools really thought that you were only a medial-grade martial sage. After I tricked them, they could take your head and make a name for themselves. The people you killed were all sects with at least the blue-robed emperor in the primal chaos domain. Among them, there were also disciples of the 3 great sections. Even if the Haotian emperor came, he would not dare to act rashly. This time, you caused a huge disaster. No one will be able to save you." When Ji Zong saw the 3 people who suddenly charged out and the laughing Mr. Qin, he could not help but feel his hair stand on end. This old fellow's schemes were actually so deep. At the summit where strong winds blew, there was no starlight. Only the lonely bright moon shone down cold moonlight. The hemp-robed old man's quintessence hand grabbed the astral cocoon, and he revealed a smile on his old face. "I feel a complete constellation in there. The secret treasure inside is definitely very powerful. If he had succeeded in refining it, it would have been difficult to kill him this time. However, now, it has benefited me. A king-grade secret treasure from the Zodiac Hall is sufficient to raise my strength by another level. Only Grandmaster-level martial sages could bring out the full might of a king-grade secret treasure." This was something that everyone knew. After obtaining a king-grade secret treasure with a raise of his hand, the hemp-robed old man was clearly in a good mood. With a flip of his hand, he placed the entire astral cocoon into his spatial ring, preparing to refine the spiritual mark in it when he returned. At the summit, Xiao Chen exchanged punches with the middle-aged man. All his law energy was knocked back. The blade-like energy immediately tore through his body, causing him to vomit a mouthful of blood. Now, Xiao Chen finally knew what the superior-grade martial sages he fought with felt like. The energy of the flawless saber Dao was simply too torturous. Mr. Qin smiled coldly and said, "Xiao Chen, just stand there obediently and let me slap you 10 times. Then, I can leave you with an intact corpse." The middle-aged man and the hemp-robed old man stood silently beside Mr. Qin, like 2 protectors protecting him. They looked at Xiao Chen coldly and expressionlessly. Grandmaster-level martial sage. Xiao Chen felt somewhat sad. All along, he had thought that he could remain undefeated before Grandmaster-level martial sages. Unexpectedly, the difference was so great. The difference in cultivation caused a qualitative change. No matter what technique Xiao Chen used, it would crumble before the other party's overwhelming strength, unable to withstand a single blow. Xiao Chen's peak rank 3 sage body did not cause him much injury. The difference was too great, he could not block the other party at all. Unless Xiao Chen circulated deities descending, it would be very difficult to block a strike from a Grandmaster-level martial sage. The trump card that he had prepared for a long time was snatched away by the other party. Xiao Chen's thoughts raced. At this moment, even if he used 2 magic skills, he would only be able to flee. He would not be able to snatch back the Big Dipper banner. Xiao Chen felt very dissatisfied. After putting in so much effort and exhausting all his resources, he ended up with nothing in the end. This won't do. Even if I have to leave, I have to kill this undying old thing. Xiao Chen's gaze turned cold as he said to Mr. Qin, "I'll stand here. If you dare, then come over and slap me." Mr. Qin did not get angry. At this moment, everything was within his control. He smiled faintly and said, "Since you want to get slapped so much, this old man will grant you your wish. Brother Feng, Senior Lu, I'll break this brat's legs and feet. Let's see how he can remain arrogant then." The middle-aged man with the family name Feng smiled and said, "Old Qin, you are a martial sage. Why would you need the two of us to work together? Brother Lu, watch carefully and don't let this brat escape. I'll deal with him alone." The hemp-robed old man nodded and landed behind Xiao Chen, blocking Xiao Chen's path. "Brat, your physical body is pretty good. Take another army-killing fist of mine." The middle-aged man grinned maliciously. His body grew in size, and crackling sounds resounded as he transformed into a bloody battlefield. He charged forward like a commander of 1,000 troops on horseback. Kill! Kill! A boundless tyrannical aura spread out from the middle-aged man's body. Before the fist arrived, millions of soldiers with surging blood qi arrived before Xiao Chen, shouting, "Kill!" Chapter 922. These soldiers did not look like materialized phantoms at all. If one looked carefully, even some of the soldiers' beards were different. These soldiers wore blood-stained battle armor and held their combat weapons, wanting to swallow up Xiao Chen. When the great rock spreads its wings, it hates the sky for being too low. Xiao Chen's face sank. He also used his most tyrannical punch to clash. He wanted to see how big the gap was between him and a grandmaster-level martial sage. A huge shadow descended as Xiao Chen turned into a Kuan Peng and spread its wings to soar. Miserable cries resounded. The soldiers in front turned into clumps of blood mist and scattered in all directions. The two clashed in the air. The middle-aged man was like a powerful overlord sweeping through the surroundings. Xiao Chen was like the holy beast Kuan Peng soaring into the sky. The two's moves were extremely ferocious, without much finesse. Thunderous sounds resounded. The mountain below could no longer withstand the tremors. With a loud rumble, the entire mountain peak turned into rubble and scattered everywhere. Xiao Chen took 100 steps back. With every step he took, space trembled. The middle-aged man's body trembled slightly as he did his best to circulate his quintessence, digesting the energy of the Kuan Peng fist. A strong wind blew around him, and his clothes and hair fluttered wildly. The Xianshui sect Jizong, who was watching from the side, was mildly startled. What's going on? Could it be that even a grandmaster-level martial sage is forced back by him? Amid the wind, the middle-aged man did his best but still took a step back in the end. The middle-aged man revealed a shocked expression. Unexpectedly, his punch did not manage to blast Xiao Chen apart. Instead, he even took a step back. Xiao Chen vomited a mouthful of blood. His complexion paled as he wiped off the blood with his right hand. Then, he looked straight at the middle-aged man and smiled. "Ha! The gap is not as big as I thought. It looks like you had the initiative in the earlier punch. That's why I ended up in such a sorry state. Stubborn." The middle-aged man became slightly angry. The scarlet light in the surroundings entered his body. With an explosive flash, he chased after Xiao Chen and punched. Xiao Chen materialized flawless 4 seasons. In the end, the spring saber, summer saber, and autumn saber were all shattered by his opponent's punch. Only the repaired winter saber managed to hold on for a moment. The two of them fought intensely in the air. Xiao Chen was knocked back by the other party's punches, and his face was completely drained of blood. His internal organs were torn apart by the army-killing fist's tyrannical might. If Xiao Chen had not cultivated the firmament body tempering art to consummation, his internal organs would have shattered long ago. He would not have been able to hold on. The hemp-robed old man smiled and said, "Brother Feng, since when did a medial-grade martial sage become so tiring? It has already been almost 20 moves, right? Fuck." The middle-aged man's rage was completely ignited. He no longer held back and punched out with the army-killing fist, causing the mountains and rivers to tremble and bloodlight to soar into the sky. The pressure on Xiao Chen multiplied, but when he saw Mr. Qin's position, he gritted his teeth and held on. Endure. There was only one thought in Xiao Chen's mind. No matter what, he had to kill this Mr. Qin. Even if the medicine god of the Medicine God Valley came personally, he would not be able to save him. Xiao Chen, weren't you very arrogant all along? Why are you being beaten up like a dog now? Bring out the arrogance you had in the merfolk race. When Mr. Qin saw Xiao Chen struggling miserably on the bloody battlefield, he felt very pleased. Bang! Another punch knocked Xiao Chen back. His blood-stained white robes combined with his pale face made Xiao Chen look incredibly weak at this moment. The middle-aged man smiled coldly and chased after Xiao Chen, sending out 3 punches. Ka-xie! Ka-xie! The bones in Xiao Chen's right hand, which he used to clash with the middle-aged man, cracked. Joy appeared on Mr. Qin's face as he shouted, "Brother Feng, spare his life. I will slap him to death." Mr. Qin's figure flashed as he rushed over at lightning speed. He feared that the middle-aged man would beat Xiao Chen to death. The middle-aged man withdrew his fist and stood upright. He secretly shook his aching right hand, happy to stop. Mr. Qin raised his right hand and looked at the half-dead Xiao Chen. He said in a sullen voice, "No one has ever slapped this old man before. Back then, you sent me flying with 1 slap. Today, I will slap you to death with 1 slap." A strand of divine light flashed through the sky and entered Xiao Chen's body. His left hand glowed with a golden light. Xiao Chen, who had been suppressed for a long time, finally had this opportunity. The deities descending that he had not used all this time erupted at this moment. Slap me to death. Let me slap you to death. Pa! A resounding slap rang out. Xiao Chen's left hand, which glowed with a golden light, landed on the right side of Mr. Qin's face. Before Mr. Qin's incredulous gaze, he was shocked to discover that his eyes could see his back. Before he could figure this out, his thoughts were cut off. The sudden turn of events stunned the middle-aged man and the hemp-robed old man. How could the extremely weak Xiao Chen still burst forth with such strength? "You are seeking death." The hemp-robed old man reacted. Killing chi surged in his eyes as a veritable essence hand instantly formed and descended from the sky, intending to smash Xiao Chen to death. Damn, this is going to be big. The middle-aged man cursed and charged forward once more. Bang! Just at this moment, the hemp-robed old man's spatial ring burst open, and countless beams of starlight shot out. The Big Dipper banner, which had a 3-colored light flowing on it, flew out. The other items in the spatial ring also scattered in all directions like a celestial maiden scattering them. Xiao Chen vomited a mouthful of blood. When he saw the Big Dipper banner illuminating 5 kilometers around, he laughed loudly. "Big Dipper banner, you did not disappoint me indeed. My efforts were not in vain." The explosion of the spatial ring produced a huge shock wave, catching the hemp-robed old man off guard. The veritable essence hand shattered. Xiao Chen stretched out his hand and caught Mr. Qin's spatial ring. Then, he grabbed the Big Dipper banner. Surging astral energy shot out. Massacre, death, and ruin, 3 different lights, changed unpredictably with the starlight. Xiao Chen used the banner pole as a spear and sent it out, clashing with the middle-aged man's fist light. The instant they clashed, Xiao Chen flicked his wrist, and the banner on the pole unfurled. Boundless starlight immediately burst out. The 7 astral pearls released resplendent light, forming a complete constellation. Ruin, death, and massacre, 3 kinds of astral energy, flowed together with the starlight. Bang! The middle-aged man took 10 steps back, and blood leaked out of a corner of his lips. His eyes filled with shock. The Big Dipper banner containing 3 states was unheard of since ancient times. Xiao Chen smiled faintly and waved the banner, collecting all the astral coins, medicinal pills, astral cores, and divine materials in the air. These were the collection of a Grandmaster-level martial sage. Damn it! How dare you snatch my treasures? When the hemp-robed old man saw Xiao Qian sweep away most of his treasures, he flew into a rage. He stretched out his hand, and a huge flaming hand smashed down. Xiao Qian did not even bother looking at the treasures that he collected. He simply tossed them into the universe ring. Then, he shook the astral banner, and a beam of starlight shot out. This beam of starlight pierced through the quintessence hand that the hemp-robed old man formed, shattering it. At this moment, Xiao Qian felt his body brimming with energy. The abundant astral energy in the Big Dipper banner could actually replenish the law energy that he exhausted. Xiao Qian swung his right hand. With his strong recovery ability, he could move his broken bones with some difficulty. Holding the reborn Big Dipper banner, Xiao Qian held some initiative. As he swung the banner, he blocked the sharp attacks of the middle-aged man and the hemp-robed old man. Ji Zong's eyes went wide as he watched from the side. Who knew how many divine materials this astral banner contained for it to have such might? Furthermore, there were the three attributes of destruction, death, and massacre. Even the Big Dipper banner in the hands of the Big Dipper Palace's palace master could not compare to the one in Xiao Qian's hand. Massacre. With a thought from Xiao Qian, the massacre chi contained in the Dubhe star shot out together with the starlight. The surging astral energy immediately turned scarlet like blood. The astral banner fluttered, and the sound of massacre spread out for 5 kilometers around. There was only one sound in the sky, one word, kill. The moment the word, kill, appeared, it shattered the martial techniques of the middle-aged man and the hemp-robed old man. The Big Dipper banner spun again, and the scarlet light faded. The death chi in the Merak star surged, and the starlight turned pitch black. All the sounds in the world merged into one word, die. The moment the word, kill, appeared, it shattered the martial techniques of the two. The middle-aged man and the hemp-robed old man were both shocked and enraged. When the black light vanished, Xiao Qian raised the Big Dipper banner and charged forward first. The destruction chi of the Fecta star turned the starlight grayish-white. Then, it formed the word, destroy, and surged towards the two. Rumble. The moment the word, destroy, appeared, many mountains collapsed. Cracks appeared on the skin of the middle-aged man and the hemp-robed old man, and blood leaked out. You are seeking death. You are just a mere medial-grade martial sage, and yet you dare to be so arrogant. The hemp-robed old man was thoroughly enraged. He opened his forehead and spat out a flaming palm leaf fan. Fiery clouds spread out for 50 kilometers above his head. The middle-aged man's expression turned sullen, and a scarlet military seal appeared in his palm. He pushed it out, and it became as large as a mountain hovering above his head. Groups of armored soldiers on warhorses floated around the military seal. Their chi and blood soared into the sky, scattering the clouds in the sky. When Ji Zong saw the situation, he quickly turned around and led his disciples away, not daring to stay any longer. This Xiao Qian had really gone overboard. Grandmaster-level martial sages could already bring out the full might of a king-grade secret treasure. Once they brought out their secret treasures, they were getting serious. It would not be an exaggeration to describe the shockwaves of the battle as earth-shattering. When one thought about it, Xiao Qian was rather capable. Unexpectedly, he forced 2 Grandmaster-level martial sages to take out their king-grade secret treasures. The light of the Big Dipper banner slowly faded. In the blink of an eye, it vanished completely. Xiao Qian's heart sank. He had gone overboard. Earlier, Xiao Qian had only cared about playing around, not holding back at all. He had used up all the astral energy in the Big Dipper banner. To be able to force us, the demonic brilliant 2 elders, to use our life king-grade secret treasures, Xiao Qian, you should be proud even in death. The hemp-robed old man snorted coldly and grabbed the flaming palm leaf fan. Then, he gently fanned it, and a strong wind carrying the flames formed 999 flame tornadoes, each one 1 kilometer long, surging towards Xiao Qian. A vast sea of fire filled Xiao Qian's vision. The might of one fan was already so strong. The full might of a king-grade secret treasure was truly terrifying. The middle-aged man formed hand seals and spat out the word, command. The scarlet military seal flashed, and 100,000 soldiers charged over, accompanied by a flaming wind. As the horses galloped in the air, the surrounding 50 kilometers rumbled. The ground shook intensely, and countless cracks appeared. Chapter 923. Shao Qian withdrew the Big Dipper banner into his sea of consciousness. Then, he said sullenly, "This bit of ability is not enough to kill me. Demonic brilliant two elders, I, Shao Qian, will remember you. The mountains will not change, the rivers will flow forever. In the future, I will definitely take your heads." Great Sun Incantation, burning the void. The magic energy in Shao Qian's sea of consciousness, which had already tripled in size, suddenly burned and drained. The blazing sun suddenly appeared in the night sky, turning into an ancient, Yang, character as it soared into the sky. Boom! The flames of the sun spread out in the air, clashing with the towering flaming tornado and the 100,000 bloody soldiers in the air. Surging shock waves covered the sky and the sun. The tall mountains for 50 kilometers around were instantly flattened. All sorts of lights bloomed in the air like fireworks, lasting for a long time. When everything calmed down, Shao Qian was nowhere to be seen. The hemp-robed old man and the middle-aged man were stunned. After a long time, they put away their king-grade secret treasures. "Mr. Qin died before our eyes. We will not be able to give an explanation to the Medicine God Valley." The middle-aged man retorted angrily, "What explanation? If we go, we will definitely be beaten to death. I just feel heartache. The primal essence nature pill that Mr. Qin promised us ended up with this brat. That is a king-grade medicinal pill that can increase one's cultivation by 60 years. The hemp-robed old man sighed and said, "This time, I suffered a great loss. Let's not care about this brat. Let's quickly go to the heavenly ruin wasteland and see if we can make up for our losses." How unlucky. If we had not agreed to Mr. Qin's request, we might have already gained a lot in the heavenly ruin wasteland. That might not be the case. The heavenly ruin wasteland has an immortal sect remnant buried there. It is a supreme sect of the immortal epoch. Even the blue-robed emperor would enter. We are just minor characters there. After running for hundreds of kilometers, Shao Qian stopped in front of a majestic and imposing city. The words, "Zhu Gu," were written on the city gates. This was one of the largest cities in the primal chaos domain. There were countless cultivators in the city, and it was very complicated. Martial sage experts could be seen everywhere. Shao Qian pondered for a while. There were many people who wanted to kill him now. Rather than hiding outside, it was better to cultivate in this city for a while. Then, he rushed to Zhongzhou Bushin Palace to participate in the king-conferring ceremony. If Shao Qian relied on the huge flow of people to hide, he would be like a drop in the ocean. Even if a major character knew divination, it would not be easy for them to find him. After putting on the heavenly sea cloak, Shao Qian headed straight for the city gates. He walked into the city as if he was air. Shao Qian paid the astral coins and reserved a superior room at a nearby inn. Only now did Shao Qian let out a sigh of relief. He was temporarily safe. He sat cross-legged on the bed and began to recover from his injuries. The middle-aged man's army-killing fist was boundlessly tyrannical. His blood chi soared into the sky. There was always a surge of energy that could not be eliminated from the internal injuries, causing the injuries to be unable to heal automatically. Now that Shao Qian had calmed down, it was time to get rid of this scarlet energy. This energy was harder to get rid of than Shao Qian had expected. After the scarlet energy pierced into his internal organs for a short period of time, it became deeply rooted and extremely difficult to get rid of. Shao Qian only managed to recover after 3 days. A light flashed in his eyes as he quickly checked Mr. Qin's spatial ring. Indeed, the heavenly secret divination disc floated quietly in the ring. After fiddling with the heavenly secret divination disc for a while, Shao Qian thought to himself, "After killing Mr. Qin this time, I have thoroughly offended the Medicine God Valley. This will be a huge problem in the future." The Medicine God Valley was a peak faction of the Profound Domain. They were much stronger than the Heaven and Earth sect. In terms of overall strength, they were no weaker than the Haotian sect. Hey, what is this? Xiao Chen's spiritual sense was attracted by a jade bottle in the spatial ring, interrupting his thoughts. That jade bottle gave off a spiritual light. It was transparent and overflowed with light. Unexpectedly, it could not block out the spiritual light of the medicinal pill inside. What medicinal pill is this for its spiritual light to be so intense? The spiritual light was too intense, so much so that Xiao Chen did not dare to take it out. He got off the bed and went to the cultivation room in the room before carefully taking out the jade bottle. This was an inn specially prepared for cultivators. Normally, the best rooms would have similar cultivation rooms that could isolate the spiritual energy fluctuations generated by cultivation. The crystalline jade bottle was transparent. Spiritual energy spread out and turned into dragons swimming around the room, moving through the clouds of spiritual energy. Xiao Chen opened his mouth and sucked in several dragon-shaped spiritual energy strands. Xiao Chen's body immediately felt very comfortable. The purple heavenly laws around his dantian churned. After absorbing this spiritual energy, he felt extremely satisfied. Bang! 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 10 brand new heavenly sage laws appeared. They were as thick as a finger, but they gave off a dense purple light and flickered with sparks. Xiao Chen was startled. What exactly is this medicinal pill? Spiritual energy turned into dragons. Just one breath and my cultivation increased by a small amount. What would happen if I swallowed the entire medicinal pill? Xiao Chen's cultivation was different from that of ordinary people. Without a fortuitous encounter, he would have needed at least a month to raise his cultivation. Looking at the jade bottle, Xiao Chen's eyes lit up with excitement. He had not expected Mr. Qin to have such a medicinal pill. If Xiao Chen guessed right, this should be the reward for the demonic brilliant 2 elders. It was an extremely precious king-grade medicinal pill that could raise a cultivator's cultivation. Good. What I lack now is cultivation. Mr. Qin, oh, Mr. Qin, you are really providing me with timely assistance. Xiao Chen opened the bottle cap and was about to consume the medicinal pill. Who knew? A beam of dim light shot out the instant he opened the bottle cap and headed for the door. Bang! The dim light crashed into the restrictions on the wall, causing Xiao Chen to groan in pain. That was a thumb-sized medicinal pill with a small face on it. It had eyes, a mouth, but no nose. Small hands and feet even grew out of the medicinal pill, rubbing its head in pain. It looked extremely cute. A pill spirit? In the past, Xiao Chen had heard of stories of medicinal pills gaining spirituality. Unexpectedly, he saw it for himself. Fortunately, this pill spirit was not strong. Xiao Chen had the foresight to open the jade bottle in the cultivation room. Otherwise, it would have flown away. Come back. Xiao Chen stretched out his hand and grabbed. A strong suction pulled the medicinal pill into his palm. The tiny pill spirit stood pitifully on Xiao Chen's palm, crying out pitifully. It looked extremely aggrieved, making it hard to swallow. Xiao Chen remained unmoved. He said, "Don't feel aggrieved. Medicinal pills are refined for others to eat." Before Xiao Chen could finish speaking, the pitiful little pill spirit shook its head and swelled to the size of a watermelon. Then, it opened its ferocious mouth and tried to chew on Xiao Chen's head. Hee hee. After swallowing you, you idiot, I will truly become a pill spirit. This broken house will not be able to trap me anymore. The pill spirit laughed sinisterly. A pill spirit eating its master. Xiao Chen's expression did not change. He threw a palm strike, and law energy surged out. Electricity flickered, and this pill spirit cried out miserably. A smooth medicinal pill appeared before Xiao Chen. He could even see a clump of primal chaos chi swimming around in the medicinal pill. This medicinal pill gained spirituality. Now, Xiao Chen was certain that the medicinal pill in his hand was a king-grade medicinal pill. However, he had only refined it for a short time, so this pill spirit did not have much growth yet. Otherwise, it would not be so easy to deal with. Xiaochen opened his mouth and swallowed this primal essence nature pill without hesitation. Then, he circulated the purple thunder divine incantation and frantically swallowed the primal essence nature pill. Beams of purple light shot out from his body. The 3,000 strands of black light all turned crystalline purple. The entire room was filled with a sea of electricity. All sorts of mutated beasts appeared in the sea, roaring at the sky. The medicinal energy of this pill made Xiaochen feel incredibly carefree. All along, he had been like a child who could not eat his fill. The surrounding spiritual energy could not satisfy him at all. After swallowing this pill, his bones, flesh, and heavenly sage laws all felt extremely satisfied. After refining for 3 days, Xiaochen opened his eyes, feeling like he had not had enough. His purple hair had not completely faded yet, making him look sinister. In 3 days, Xiaochen's cultivation had risen from early-stage medial-grade martial sage to middle-stage medial-grade martial sage. Xiaochen licked his lips. This medicinal pill was really good stuff. Unfortunately, there was only one. If he had another 8 or 10, he might have been able to push his cultivation to superior-grade martial sage. Then, he would be able to fight a grandmaster-level martial sage head-on. However, this was already pretty good. With his current cultivation, he no longer had to be so passive when facing the demonic brilliant 2 elders, unable to resist at all. After standing up and leaving, Xiaochen muttered to himself for a while before putting on a scarlet cloak. This was a sage-grade secret treasure from the hemp-robed old man's collection. It had the effect of increasing one's speed. A scarlet light flowed around the cloak, fluttering about. This scarlet cloak looked very cool. Then, Xiaochen turned the blue Neptune headscarf into red and tied it around his forehead, matching his purple hair. Xiaochen's aura immediately changed. He now looked like an elite disciple of an evil sect, exuding an evil aura. Unless one was very close to him, it would be hard for others to connect him to Xiaochen. Xiaochen's purple hair toppled many people's opinions. A folding fan appeared in Xiaochen's hand. After sizing up his current attire, he smiled faintly and walked out. In the bustling inn, Xiaochen ordered some food and wine as he listened to the conversations of the various cultivators. There were many people from all walks of life in the inn. He could hear the latest news of the primal chaos domain here. Did you hear? The profound domain's demonic brilliant 2 elders suffered at the hands of the white-robed Xiaochen. They were invited by Mr. Qin to kill Xiaochen. Who could have imagined that Xiaochen would kill Mr. Qin and swagger off? The demonic brilliant 2 elders are not ordinary grandmaster-level martial sages. They have been famous for many years. They have lived for 400 or 500 years, and their cultivations are ridiculously deep. They can kill a regular superior-grade martial sage with one punch. This Xiaochen is really bold. I heard that he even killed the disciples of all the big sects in the primal chaos domain. Now, several sects have already started to hunt him down. How unfortunate. The experts of my primal chaos domain are all rushing to the heavenly ruin wasteland. This Xiaochen will be free and unfettered for a while. When Xiaochen heard this, he felt excited. No wonder the demonic brilliant 2 elders are so strong. It turns out that they have lived for 400 or 500 years. It is only natural that their cultivations far surpass mine. However, what is this heavenly ruin wasteland? To think that it would attract so many experts of the primal chaos domain. Curiosity stirred in Xiaochen's heart. He raised his hand to that eloquent, skinny man and said, "This brother, would you like to come over and have a drink?" The skinny man was in the middle of speaking when he was interrupted. He was displeased, but when he turned to look, he saw that someone had interrupted him. However, when he looked over, he saw that Xiaochen was covered in secret treasures and had an overwhelming evil aura.